This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Luton-based airlines change flight rules in wake of Alps crash. Bedfordshire care home boss to be sentenced. And Cameron and Miliband both claim victory in first TV election debate.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A number of airlines, including Luton-based EasyJet and Monarch, have changed their flight procedures from this morning in response to Tuesday's plane crash in the French Alps. French officials say it was caused by the co-pilot Andreas Lubitz from Germany, who locked the captain out of the cockpit. German newspapers are reporting that Lubitz had a history of depression. The decision by the airlines to have two crew members in the cockpit at all times has been welcomed by experienced pilot Captain Fintan Ryan.
Aer Lingus and Ryanair, the two Irish airlines, they do that anyway. I see two new airlines that said Norwegian Shuttle have started doing it from tomorrow, and also EasyJet. But I'm very surprised. Apparently Lufthansa hadn't got this policy, but a number of other European airlines had.
The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire care home where an elderly woman died after falling out of a body sling will be sentenced today. Mohammed Zarouk, whose company GA Properties ran Meppershall Care Home, pleaded guilty to the charges brought by the Health and Safety Executive. More from Carol Abercrombie.
The case was brought following the death of May Ward, who was 100 years old. An inquest heard she fell from the sling because two carers hadn't had proper training. Mohammed Zarouk has admitted breaching Section 3 of the Health and Safety at Work Act for failing to protect people in the workplace other than employees.
A man will appear at Luton Crown Court today, charged with committing murder at a travellers' site in Buckinghamshire. 33-year-old Addy McAllister from Derbyshire is accused of killing Adam Fennelly from Dunstable in the village of Nash last week. A second man remains in custody. Two men from Luton have been charged with terror offences following an investigation by Scotland Yard officers. 38-year-old Ibrahim Anderson and 62-year-old Shah Jahan Khan are accused of inviting support for a banned organisation. Both have been bailed to appear in court next month. Both the Conservatives and Labour are claiming victory in last night's Leaders televised election programme. Jeremy Paxman and a studio audience questioned David Cameron and Ed Miliband, who appeared separately. More from Norman Smith.
This was perhaps a much tougher experience than either man had expected. Mr Cameron's aides adamant the Prime Minister had triumphed by stressing the strength of the economy. Mr Miliband's aides insistent that the Labour leader had put in a much more aggressive and self-confident performance. Both men, though, faced a bruising time at the hands of Jeremy Paxman. Mr Cameron seemingly discomfited when challenged over food banks and zero-hours contracts. Ed Miliband, meanwhile, had to vehemently rebuff suggestions that he wasn't tough enough to be Prime Minister.
In sport, world champion Lewis Hamilton suffered an engine failure in first practice for Sunday's Malaysian Grand Prix, whilst his Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg was fastest. And ahead of tomorrow's trip to Northampton, Luton have signed Aston Villa left-back Lewis Kinsella on loan. The weather dry with sunny spells, a maximum temperature 12 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
Thank you, Simon. Man alive, that debate last night, wasn't that fun? Wrong answer, it was boring, man. 15 minutes in, I thought, nah, I'm not gonna bother. Instead, I took a load of night nurse, fell asleep and had a dream I was having a cocaine party. I know! Boring, guys. Coming up on the show today, I know not what. What's a hotspot not? Kelly?
Pot.
Well, kids these days, they don't know they're born. Of course they do! A little bit of existentialism first thing in the morning, huh?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
All the music comes from records today, including these cheeky little monkeys. It's One Direction and Zayn Malik.
Don't you know, if they move too quick, oh well, the
walk like an Egyptian.
Slide feet up the street, bend your back, shift your arm, then you pull it back. Legs hard, you know. So strike a pose on a Cadillac. If you wanna find all the cops, they're hanging out in the donut shop. They sing and dance. They spin the club, cruise down the block. All the Japanese that they and the party boys call the Kremlin. And the Chinese know. They walk the line like Egyptian. All the cops in the donut shop say. Walk like an Egyptian. Walk like an Egyptian.
Did you miss me when I was away? Did you hang my picture on your wall? I was talking to Kelly.
Yes.
Hello, hello, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Hello, hello, it's good to be back.
We did hang the picture. It was easier to aim the darts at it on the wall.
Hey, I see what you did there. Who was I which poet, which British poet was I quoting there, Kelly Betts?
When you said which thing?
The last things I've just been saying. Did you miss me when I was away? Did you hang my picture on your wall? I know. Did you miss me every single day? I know you didn't miss me at all. I know you didn't miss me at all. Don't tell her. Which British poet am I quoting there?
Goldie Hawn.
Gareth Glitter. Gareth Glitter.
Oh, it's close.
Very, very close. Very close indeed. How were you miming?
I was mouthing
Gareth Glitter.
No, I wasn't. I got it wrong. The reason she said Goldie Hawn is because I was saying Noddy Holder.
Do you know why Noddy Holder's called Noddy Holder?
Please tell us.
It's slang for a condom.
Oh.
Did you not know that? Did you not know that?
You didn't tell me that, no.
No, I wouldn't.
But why would he want to be called that?
Well, who wouldn't want to be called Condom?
He's a funny guy.
Lots of people.
My nickname at school was French letters.
Was it?
No. That'd be weird. At school? Nah. Morning, guys. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Now, the managing director of a care home company is due to be sentenced today. Do we sound a bit weird, by the way, Kelly? It sounds weird in my ears.
Yeah.
Can you fix that?
Yes.
OK, great.
She stopped listening. That's how she fixed it.
The managing director of a care home company due to be sentenced today after a 100-year-old woman, this is incredible, died following an incident at one of his facilities. May Ward fell from a sling. I know these slings. My mother has to use them to get out of bed, and it's a hoist that goes over the bed, and you kind of strap them in, you lift them up, and you move them either onto the toilet or onto their wheelchair or wherever. This happened at Meppershall Care Home 5 years ago. The two carers responsible have since left the country. Oh, right, that's nice. But GA's property boss, Mohammed Zarouk, pleaded guilty to the charges brought by the Health and Safety Executive. Catherine, remind us what happened here, please.
Back in 2004, at her own request, May Ward was admitted to the Meppershall Care Home at a cost of about £500 a week. Now, at that point, she was immobile, she had dementia, and she, from time to time, became agitated. An inquest jury ruled that she was completely dependent on other people for her care. On the 27th of August 2010, so she'd been there for a while, she'd been there for 6 6 years. She fell while being hoisted from her bed. Now, it emerged that the two carers hadn't had the proper training. She was in an agitated state, and the Health and Safety Inspector told Hatfield Coroner's Court that May should not have been moved in such a state. Now, she fell from a height of around 5 feet because the leg supports hadn't been properly attached.
Blimey.
If they had been, she wouldn't, in all likelihood, have fallen. Now, she suffered multiple injuries, very nasty ones, including a broken leg, multiple skull fractures and an intercerebral hemorrhage, and died in hospital the following day. In January 2013, the inquest jury recorded a verdict of accidental death. Now, almost 5 years since her death, the care home manager is being sentenced.
Now, the carers that were responsible for this, they've left the country, have they?
Well, yeah, but it appears that they needn't have. The two carers, originally from China and Bulgaria, left the country following May's death and couldn't be called before a jury. At the time of the inquest, the family of May Ward say that they would have been asked simply what had happened. The family of May Ward say this is the justice system and perhaps it needs looking at with a number of foreign carers in this country. But if they could have, they would have asked them simply what happened. It seems they say that they're in a panic. They resorted to panic measures, and the family hopes that changes to the way carers are trained can be brought about as a result of this case.
What else is the family saying?
John Ward, who is May's son and lives in Stevenage, will be talking to you later on in the programme. He told us yesterday that nothing is being done to improve care homes, and he's fuming. As for the sentencing of the manager, John says he's not expecting miracles, saying he'll probably just get a small fine and a slapped wrist. He recalls having a meeting with Mr. Zaruk after his mother died and said that the care home boss was eating his dinner and showed no respect at all.
Blimey. The Health and Safety Executive, what do they say?
Mohammed Zaruk has admitted breaching Section 3 of the Health and Safety at Work Act for failing to protect people in the workplace other than employees. And GA Projects Limited pleaded guilty to breaching Sections 3 and 37 of the Health and Safety at Work Act 1974. At the time of the inquest, the coroner, Edward Thomas, said he would write to the Care Quality Commission urging vigilance in similar circumstances in similar homes. And you'll remember this because we had a number of staff members, and one in particular who was very upset from the Meppershall Care Home. It was closed in July 2013 following concerns raised by the Care Quality Commission during an inspection of the home. It's since reopened under new management, but you'll remember that we heard from one carer in particular who didn't work on the department that had been the root of these concerns, and she just felt that they'd all been very hard done by.
Catherine, thank you very much indeed. Let's have some of this.
Give me a ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a-going home. My baby just wrote me a letter. I don't care how much money I gotta spend. Got to get back to my baby again. Lonely days are gone, I'm a-going home. My baby just wrote me a letter. When she wrote me a letter, said she couldn't live without me no more. Listen, mister, can't you see I got to get back to my baby once more. Anyway, yeah, give me a ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a-going home. My baby just wrote me a letter. When she wrote me a letter, said she couldn't live without me no more. Listen, mister, can't you see I got to get back to my baby once more. Anyway, yeah, give me a ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a-going home. My baby just wrote me a letter. My baby just wrote me a letter.
I've got control of your knobs.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, let's have a check on the major routes first of all. The clockwise M25 exit slip road at junction 25. That is currently partially blocked off down to one lane because of a breakdown there. As for the M1, looking good. Can't see any problems at the moment. A414 looks to be fine. Trains looking good as well with no reported delays. James Woolley, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, James. 6:15. It's Friday, the 27th of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A number of airlines, including Luton-based EasyJet and Monarch, have changed their flight procedures from this morning in response to the plane crash in the French Alps. The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire care home where an elderly woman died after falling out of a body sling will be sentenced today. And both the Conservatives and Labour are claiming victory in last night's leader's televised election programme.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Roberto Perroni on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tip-top etiquette expert William Hanson, who is not a fan of politicians oversharing.
Oh, good afternoon, Roberto. I feel slightly nauseous after that music.
Every weekday from 3.
Let's talk to Harriet Harman, the leader of the Labour Party.
We've been in Bedford and Cambridge, and we've had very interesting discussions.
Let's talk cold callers. Do you have a tried and tested method of getting rid of cold callers?
You've got to make up a word before you go on the phone, and so you can fit that word in without them realising the most time.
Saying actually helps you feel calmer. Did you believe this, Sharon?
Definitely. And since I read that, I've been doing it and I'm well chilled.
Roberto Perroni, weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
A girl went back to Napoli because she missed the scenery, the native dances and the charming songs. But wait a minute, something's wrong. Mambo Italiano, mambo Italiano, go, go, go. You mixed up Siciliano, all you Calabrese do the mambo like a crazy with a mambo. Don't want a tarantella, mambo. No more the mozzarella, mambo. Mambo Italiano, try an enchilada with the fish bacala and an gumba. I love how you dance rumba. But take some of advice, paisano. Learn how to mambo. If you're gonna be a square, you ain't gonna go nowhere. Hey, mambo, mambo Italiano. Hey, mambo, mambo Italiano. Go, go, Joe. Shake it like a Giovanni. Hey, look, as a ditch, you get a happy in the feet. So when you mambo Italiano. Shake it, cause I love her when you take a me. Mama say stop or I'm gonna tell her Papa and I ain't jadrul. You don't have to go to school. Just make a way to beat a bambino. It's like a vino. Kid, you're good at looking, but you don't know it's cooking till you ain't mambo. Mambo Italiano, hey, mambo, mambo Italiano, oh, oh, oh. You mixed up Siciliana, it's so delicious. Everybody come capisce how to mambo Italiano.
What?
That's nice.
Whose aunt was that?
George Clooney's.
It's George Clooney's aunt singing that. George Clooney's aunt. George Clooney's aunt, Justin.
As she says, that's a nice.
That's a nice. I like it. Can we list of the songs that are a little bit racist?
That's not racist.
Oh, she's not an Italian.
She is.
Is she?
Yeah, I didn't know.
I didn't know that. Clooney's not an Italian name, is it?
No.
What? Okay, what other songs feature Italiano? Of course, a lot of the Dean Martin songs do.
What's it matter you?
This is what we're doing. Give me a pen. Go on, give me a pen.
Have this one.
Thank you very much indeed. Ouch! That fell
Hey,
on my
boss.
Yes, sir.
Good to have you back.
Hey, Dealey.
Back on board.
Thank you for stepping into the breach, my love.
It's all right. Enjoy the Vits.
Justin has bought me some vitamins.
I think that's a hint to not be off sick again.
No, I had. Do you know what? I had a great time. So thanks very much for asking. So Italian songs. So anything by Dean Martin.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Dean Martin. Let's put down that Rosemary Clooney.
Yeah. Cilla Black did quite a bit in Italian, didn't she?
Joe Dolce.
Petula Clark again.
But which Petula Clark one? Downtown is not Italian.
I think she did everything. Every one of her songs she did in about 6 or 7 different languages.
Yeah, including French.
Oh, blimey.
Very big in France.
Oui, oui.
Oh, we were gonna do that Monday. We'll do that. Songs in foreign languages.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll have that Monday. We'll have some of that. 08459. I'm not even going to bother finishing that.
45555.
Now.
Great phone number.
A UKIP. What is this? A UKIP are expecting...
spokesman says. Sorry. Can I have my pen back?
Flippin' heck.
Well, if you take it before...
A UKIP...
Spokesman.
A UKIP spokesman says they are expecting idiots... Blimey. You go away for 2 days, Justin, and the standard dips below sea level. To protest in Luton tomorrow when the party opens its new office on the outskirts of Bury Park. The comments were made by election agent Bob Clements, but UKIP's candidates for the town say they'll offer any troublemakers a cup of tea and a chat. Yeah. Justin, you can tell us more. What more do we know?
Well, the shop is on Crawley Road. It's been open now for about 3 to 4 weeks, but the party feels the need for this opening ceremony tomorrow. The UKIP candidate for Luton South, Yazim Rahman, says that UKIP MEP Stuart Agnew will be present. Mr Rahman told us that the party had a 3-month contract on the shop, but they might make it permanent, depending how things go with the election. In saying that, though, Iain, our reporter Tony Fisher, he went down to this shop yesterday around midday, and guess what? It was closed.
Hey.
But they do tell us that the shop is used for meetings, and hopefully from Saturday onwards, it will be open all the time. But certainly yesterday, when Tony was there, it was closed.
Are they expecting trouble tomorrow?
Well, Mr Raymond says they are prepared to accept any insults. He says that he himself has been called a Nazi, but they have no information about protests. However, the UKIP election agent Bob Clements, he's been talking to the Luton News, and he says that he's bracing himself for disruption during the opening. He says, his words, "We are expecting idiots." Yeah, there may be some form of protest across the road, but we will not bite, he says. If anything happens, and this is the fascinating line here, we would invite them across for a cup of tea. So if you're going to protest tomorrow, you may well be offered a cup of tea. He says, we will notify the local police of what we are doing, and if they don't want us to do it, we will listen to them.
And Yasin Rahman, what do we know about him?
Well, you're going to be talking to him later, in around an hour's time, but he himself is an immigrant. He used to be a Lib Dem, and he now says the perception of UKIP being anti-immigration is all wrong. It's about controlled immigration. He says even if UKIP has been in power when he came to this country, that was in 1989, it would not have been a problem as he has family in this country. I mean, he's got some words on his website. Locally, he says, "I'm a well-known community activist, lecturer, public speaker, and I believe passionately in social justice, equality, fairness, peace and freedom."
Well, good for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for him.
It does seem a bit weird, though, where they've got this office, if I'm being perfectly honest, because Luton's quite a big place, and they've got this right on the edge of Bury Park, so I'm sure they could have picked an office elsewhere. To me personally, it almost seems like they've put it there to almost get publicity.
Well, they say they're not a racist party, so they can have an office anywhere, surely.
Yeah, I suppose so, but I just think, as I say, Luton is a big place. It seems quite a weird location to have it, but there you go.
Justin, we'll speak to you just before 7, is that all right?
Yes, thank you, darling.
Is that all right, my love?
That's all right,
Thank you, my darling. Here we go. The Birds.
I've got control of your knobs.
Miles high and being their
I've got control of your knobs.
I do it in head.
You must be joking.
Go away!
Why would a boy play with a girl's toy?
People in this country deserve to have stuff for free.
One of them came up against me, I couldn't touch it, I was shocked.
Some laughing, some just shapeless form. Sidewalk scenes and black limousines. Some living, some standing alone.
Psychedelic, baby! Psychedelic! The only decent song the Birds did. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. I call it about anything you want. I mean, the stories we're talking about, I mean, you know, yeah, but you know the rules by now. You can call in about anything. I couldn't give a stuff. I feel sorry for Zayn Malik. I feel sorry for Zayn Malik. One Direction's, formerly of One Direction, Zayn Malik. Oh, Zayn Malik, formerly of One Direction. Zayn Malik.
He wants to be a normal 22-year-old.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Or
normal, really rich 22-year-old.
Loads of the fans are furious because he says he wants to be a normal 22-year-old and then he was photographed going into a recording studio and the fans are like, oh, well, he should have left a bit of time. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
He might just be getting his coat and his papers and that.
He might be getting his last paycheck. He's got a hand in his notice and get his P45.
He might have left all that music he wrote in there. Oh, hang on a minute.
Oh, I feel sorry. He's a boy. He's 22. He was 17 when that roller coaster started. No, of course he's going to feel dizzy and seasick. He wants to get off. And enjoy his leisure time.
Yeah.
He could go nuts. Do you feel sorry for Zayn Malik, Kelly? I'm sure you like him being a child. Huh?
I like Zayn being a child.
No, you are child. You like Zayn Malik?
Nah.
Do you know what? I feel really sorry for anyone who gets exactly what they wish for at the age of 21. Because their life becomes empty and they have nothing to aim for anymore.
The tragedy of your times, my young friends, is you may get exactly what you wish for.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 clockwise, there's a lane close on the exit slip road at junction 25 for Enfield because of vans broken down. So that's leading up to the A10, causing delays. In Neaston on the North Circular Road, there's reports that it's been partially blocked southbound because of an accident at the Neaston interchange, which is causing queues back from the M1 junction 1 at Staples Corner. And having a look elsewhere at Bishop Stortford on Dunmow Road, that's closed in both directions for water mains work between Stansted Road and Stortford Hall Park, so expect delays there. And there are reports of any major problems on the trains, but there are some maintenance work going on at Denham Golf Club, so Chiltern Railway have the station closed at Denham Golf Club while those engineering works go on. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. A number of airlines, including Luton-based EasyJet and Monarch, have changed their flight procedures from this morning in response to Tuesday's plane crash in the French Alps. The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire care home where an elderly woman died after falling out of a body sling will be sentenced today. And both the Conservatives and Labour are claiming victory in last night's Leaders televised election programme. An ICM poll of viewers gave David Cameron a 54 to 46% victory over Ed Miliband.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
World champion Lewis Hamilton suffered an engine failure in first practice for Sunday's Malaysian Grand Prix, whilst his Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg was fastest. Daniel Ricciardo was sixth for the Milton Keynes Red Bull team. Second practice is taking place now. Tottenham striker Harry Kane is expected to make his England debut in tonight's European Championship qualifier against Lithuania at Wembley. Kane has scored 29 times for Spurs this season. Tomorrow, no matches for Watford or MK Dons because of the international games. The Dons have signed forward Rob Hall on loan from Bolton. He was on loan at Stadium MK in 2012. The League Two promotion race continues tomorrow with third-placed Wickham at Dagenham. Here's manager Gareth Ainsworth.
Towards the end of the season, I believe that your recruitment becomes really important. Not the recruitment now, but the recruitment you did in the summer, because the characters now come through and the ones who can deal with monotony of week in, week out, the same thing, and the ones who can dig deep and find that energy for games like this.
Ahead of the trip to Northampton, Luton have signed Aston Villa left-back Lewis Kinsella on loan as their injury list lengthens. Elliot Lee and Fraser Franks will miss tomorrow's match, but Jonathan Smith could return. Manager John Still says a lack of confidence is a factor in the recent poor run.
You do get affected by confidence, the less strong mentally. Of course you do. It's a natural thing. But what I've admired is how we've kept going. Somewhere along the line, the spark will turn round and spark for us. As long as we work hard, that will happen.
Stevenage go to Leaders Burton on Monday. Arsenal midfielder Jack Jebb has rejoined the borough on loan for the rest of the season. And in Speedway, the Rye House Rockets Cup fixture at Ipswich last night was postponed due to the wet weather. They go to Peterborough tonight and host Somerset at Hoddesdon tomorrow night. BBC Three Counties News and Sports. The next full bulletin is at 7.
They're gonna put me in the movies. They're gonna make a big star out of me. We'll make a film about a man that's sad and lonely, and all I gotta do is act naturally. Well, I bet you I'm gonna be a big star. Might win an Oscar, you can never tell. The movie's gonna make me a big star, 'cause I can play the part so well. Well, I hope you'll come and see me in the movies. Then I'll know that you will plainly see the biggest fool that ever hit the big time. And all I gotta do is act naturally. We'll make the scene about a man that's sad and lonely and begging down upon his bended knee. I'll play the part and I won't need rehearsing. All I have to do is act naturally. Well, I bet you I'm gonna be a big star. Might win an Oscar, you can never tell. The movie's gonna make me a big star, 'cause I can play the part so well. Well, I hope you'll come and see me in the movies. Then I'll know that you will plainly see the biggest fool that ever hit the big time. And all I gotta do is act naturally.
I've got control of your knobs.
Fella, calm down, for goodness sake. Good morning, Dennis.
Good morning, Ian. Look, welcome back.
Oh, it's like slipping my thingy bob into a comfy old slipper that's been chewed by our lovable pet Alsatian that was put down 5 years ago.
Good-o.
Good-o. Now then.
This young gentleman who at 22 has done everything he needs to do.
Zayn Malik, a man I feel very, very sorry for.
So
and
do I.
Do you genuinely?
Yes.
Da.
Yes, I do.
That's all I want to say to you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for calling. Anything else?
Yes.
Oh, go on then.
I was going to say, life started for me at that age because I'd been an indentured apprentice during the war and I wanted to join the Navy.
Which war are we talking about?
Not the Boer War.
OK, the First World War?
No, a little bit later than that.
Okie dokie.
I'm not that old.
No.
However, I was now free at 21.
Yes.
And I did what I wanted to do, well, join the Navy.
Noddy holder?
Sorry?
Yes.
And that's when life started for me.
Yeah.
I went out and had a look at the world, which I couldn't afford to do on my own money.
Yes.
And I met a lady. And we started a family, and life began then.
We should really cherish these stories from our elderly people, but we don't.
I know, you rotten old devils. I'm writing them down with all the rude things in him.
Oh, please send them to Kelly Betts.
Well, I know, as I said. This.
Hey, I've had a great idea. I've actually.
Shades of Grey.
Dennis.
Part of my autobiography.
I've genuinely had a great idea. You know they did. They did a TV series that was based on that life of that chef. Do you remember that? Yeah. Not Chef with Lenny Henry. It was called like Smelling Bacon or something.
What?
Wasn't there? There was a chef. Who? Honestly,
Smelling Bacon.
It was called something like that. This was recent. There was
Sniffing sausage.
Something like that. Pulling pork. There was a series that was based on the autobiography of a chef.
Which one?
Well, I don't know.
Fat lady.
No, a modern chef. The one with the glasses.
Heston.
No. Google quicker, Kelly. Quicker. This was like last year. I believe.
Greg Wallace.
Was it just called Chef?
No, that's Lenny Henry. I'm going to say something, and I'm only saying this because it's the only descriptive thing about him I can remember. He's gay.
Right. Oh, Nigel Slater.
Nigel Slater,
Boom.
Thank you.
You see, the only thing you remember, but it was the one that triggered my memory.
Excuse me, coughing.
Yeah, what was that called?
It was called Pulling Pork or something,
no,
wasn't it?
It wasn't.
Sniffing Bacon? Well, type it in, What was his name?
Pulling Pork.
Is it well done, Dennis?
Nigel Slater.
I've heard of pulling birds, but not pulling pork.
Can we please stop pulling pork? No, it was a TV...
Nigel Slater's recipes.
No, it was a TV series. Type in Nigel Slater, TV drama. This is a very torturous way of getting to...
Nigel Slater's Dish of the Day.
No.
Oh, she's really...
Nigel Slater's Simple Suppers.
You're looking at his cookbooks. Look at his television programmes.
This is a very torturous way of flagging up, which actually isn't a particularly good idea, but... It is...
Toast.
There we go, toast. Thank you. Right.
That has nothing to do with sniffing bacon.
Anyway, Dennis.
Yes.
Have you genuinely written down bits of your life?
Yes.
Send it in. Because what we're...
What? Too far back.
Sorry?
It was too...
Can he hear me? I'm talking to him and he's just rambling on like a lunatic.
I'm not.
Have you written it down?
Yes, but it's in hieroglyphics because I went back that far.
Because I've got a great idea.
Yeah.
We're going to make a radio play based on your early life. And do you know who's going to play you?
Who?
Paul Scoins. Paul Scoins is going to play you as a boy.
No, Lockers.
No. Oh, gosh, I don't want Lockers involved. And we'll recreate your early life, Dennis.
Can I play Gwen?
Does he like whiskey? Does he like whiskey?
It'll be acting, so it don't matter.
Well, of course it does.
For goodness sakes, he's getting on my nerves. Send it in to us, Dennis, and that's that.
He won't send it in. He's not written it down.
No.
It's all fibs.
That is... well, anyway, Zane's... would actually work, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And if he doesn't send it in, we'll make it up. Zane's girl is like Yoko, say One Direction fans. No, they don't, because they don't know who Yoko is. No. Oh, no! Whatever other achievements Yoko Ono can put her name to many, she will always be the woman who broke up the Beatles. And it seems the same worrying fate could be waiting for Perry Edwards, 21.
If we keep going on about it.
As fans of One Direction have accused her of forcing Zayn Malik to leave the group. The Little Mix singer, who's engaged to Malik, 22, has been compared to Miss Ono and has become something of a hate figure for some online fanatics. One tweeted, Perry Edwards? Oh, you mean Yoko Ono 2.0? A third wrote, what just happened? Did Perry make him choose her over his career? Unfair, man. She should also quit if that's the case. Just an opinion.
Why are they taking some people's views on Twitter as the gospel? Oh, convenient. It's convenient.
Well, I feel sorry for Zayn Malik. And if he wants to come and hang out and play Xbox, smoke the reefer.
Doesn't smoke the reefer well.
Come on, guys.
It must be hard. It must be hard. And I know I'm not being ironic or sarcastic. I know I have a sarcastic tone, but I can't imagine getting everything at that young age. What have you got? The only way is down, isn't it?
Spoiler alert. On my list of films to watch on Amazon Prime, Gone Girl.
Yeah.
Wanted to watch Gone Girl.
What one's that?
Well, it's got the fella in.
Well, it was a story we weren't familiar with.
Spoiler alert. OK, if you've not seen Gone Girl, switch off.
Can I switch off?
Yeah. Because I was reading the Daily Mail. I've got no idea. I know Gone Girl's got a twist.
Yeah.
Daily Mail, page 41. Is this the real-life Gone Girl? Blonde and boyfriend are accused of faking kidnap. Just like the hit movie plot. Thanks for spoiling it, guys.
I didn't know what Gone Girl was about either. I'd just seen it on Twitter, people saying things like, girls be crazy. So I knew that there would be a twist, but thanks, Mail.
Yes, that's the twist.
Can I listen back now?
Kelly, could I get a glass of water, please?
Of course you can, my love.
Thank you
Hey,
so
it's
much,
just
my
out
darling.
there,
Hey!
On trial, bakers who refused to put a gay slogan on a cake.
These gay cakes.
I mean, if you eat a gay word, it makes you gay, right?
Yeah, go on.
A Christian family says the law is forcing them to hold beliefs that contradict their faith, as their business was dragged to a court for refusing to make a cake supporting gay marriage. Asher's Baking Company said it was only trying to be faithful to the Bible ahead of the David and Goliath case against them, which is being funded by the taxpayer. The family-owned bakery became embroiled in controversy when it cancelled an order placed by gay rights activist Gareth Lee for a cake featuring the slogan, Support Gay Marriage. Mr. Lee complained that the decision was in breach of the inequality laws, and the issue was taken up by Northern Ireland state-funded Equality Commission, which is challenging the family's decision.
Surprisingly, I'm on the side of the bakers on this.
No.
Yeah.
How can you be?
They didn't want to put the slogan on the cake. It's their decision.
Yeah, but they don't have to like the cake. I mean, they don't. It might be a lemon cake. They might not be partial to lemons. They don't have to eat it. They don't have to look at it once they've made it. It's money.
No, exactly. And you're right. And so I respect them even more now. You've highlighted that.
Why?
Well, they've turned down money because of what they believe in. Honest, genuinely, I'm on the side of the cake makers.
Do you know what always surprises me about these stories is that they have such principles that they will turn down money. Okay, fair enough, because they think that it's against the word of the Bible.
Yeah.
But they forget the judge not yet, lest ye yourself be judged.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The what?
Judge not, lest ye yourself be judged. You should know that one.
I just think. Listen, if I'm.
Also, do they prefer gay people not to be married and to go around having it off with everyone?
I think
monogamy is to be celebrated, isn't it?
I think the gay thing is a misnomer here. I think that if you are within your rights, you should be within your rights to refuse to do something. If you're self-employed, I can turn down work.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's within my right to turn down work. It should be within their right to turn down work. Shouldn't it? Aha! Aha!
Okay, so if let's just
go on. Go on. Put a scenario that doesn't work.
Of a minority who might come in.
Yeah.
I don't like, for example, they might say, I don't like small people.
Yep.
I'm not going to make a wedding cake for two small people because I think you're weirdos. Are you allowed to say that to people?
Well, have they said that to people?
They're saying to them that they're an aberration, aren't they? By saying that
No. Did they say to the gay couple when they came in, we don't like gays, you're perverted, it's disgusting? Because if they said that, yes, that's inappropriate. If they just said, no, we're not going to do this.
They said they wanted to be faithful to the Bible.
Fine. Honestly, I don't have a problem with that.
Really?
I don't agree with their views. Of course I don't agree with their views. Everyone can do whatever they want to everyone who's willing to have it done to them. But I agree with their right as self-employed people to turn down work. 08459 455 555.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think you might be right.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are delays on the M25 clockwise at junction 25 for Enfield because of a breakdown at the exit slip road to the A10. On the M1 towards London, it's starting to build up around junction 9 for Redbourne, and also on the M1 Luton Airport Spur Road. There's roadworks going on between junction 10A at the Kidneywood roundabout and junction 10 for the main carriageway, so that could cause some delays if you're heading to the airport this morning. In Little Telfont on White Lion Road, there's roadworks just before Loudhams Road, but it's not causing any delays on the speed sensors so far. And on the train departure boards, there are no major delays at the moment, but Chiltern Railway have Denham Golf Club station closed for engineering works while they do some work on the platform. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 6:46, Friday the 27th of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A number of airlines, including Luton-based EasyJet and Monarch, have changed their flight procedures from this morning in response to the plane crash in the French Alps. The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire care home where an elderly woman died after falling out of a body sling will be sentenced today. And a poll of viewers gave David Cameron a narrow victory over Ed Miliband in last night's first live election debate. Let's get the weather. Here's Elizabeth.
Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's going to be a pretty nice day today, actually. Lots of sunshine around, a bit of a chilly start, but some good spells of sunshine. The winds are much lighter than yesterday, so it'll feel nice and pleasant. Top temperatures up to 11 or 12 Celsius across the three counties. That's 54 in Fahrenheit. Overnight tonight, though, a few changes. We'll start to get the cloud thickening from the west, a mild and a murky warm sector of air basically coming in from the west. So much milder start to the day tomorrow, 6 or 7 degrees Celsius. Quite poor visibility perhaps in some places. Possibly a few outbreaks of drizzle into tomorrow morning. So lots of cloud around tomorrow, some spells of rain through the first part of the afternoon, but the main feature of the weekend weather is that it's going to feel very blustery indeed. A strong westerly wind on Saturday. There will be some brightness through the afternoon, and then this wind is gradually going to turn around to more of a northwesterly by the time we get to Sunday, possibly gusts of up to 50 miles an hour. That's very windy, and possibly some showers coming through as well. And the wind on Sunday is going to feel really quite chilly, so a very blustery weekend. All in all, that's the forecast.
Watch this, y'all. Can prende stanno prendo con caro correndo a caramba sulla casa in nerdino ma dove me sono senti mama you understand that no well like I don't understand how you can cause like
I've got control of your knobs.
Paris, Beirut, you know, I mean Iraq, Iran, Eurasia, you know, I speak very, very fluent Spanish. Todo está bien chévere. Understand that? Bien chévere. Bien chévere. Is that right, mama? Yeah, cause I got my shaking room, I'm gonna do the thing. Everybody's got a thing, but some don't know how to handle it. Always reaching out in vain, just taking the things not worth having. But don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, mama. Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. You say your style of life's a drag and that you must go other places, but just don't you feel too bad when you get fooled by smiling faces. But don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, mama. Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. When you get off your trip, don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing.
No, I'm right about the gay cake. I'm right about the gay cake.
I hate the reasons behind it,
Yeah.
but I guess if you've got your own business, you should
can
be able
turn
to decide.
down work. Now.
Maybe their mistake was giving the reason.
Well, we don't know. Did they give the reason to the couple?
Yeah.
But how do you know that?
Not
Didn't
the couple. It was for an event.
Yeah, no, but did they say to the couple?
It wasn't a couple. It was for a bloke.
All right. Did they say to the fella, "We're not doing it because you're a gay lord and we don't like that"? Is that what they said?
Not quite like that. They said that they were respecting their.
But did they say that to him, or is that the statement they're saying to the press and in court?
Well, I don't know. Let's have a look at.
Well, exactly. Well, no, but you're saying that's what. This is the thing that you're saying. That's what they said to him.
The paper is saying that their reason was this, but I don't know who they said it to.
I know, but I've asked you if they said it to him, and you said yes. And I'm questioning further, and now
Well, they've
you're
sent
not
it
so
to him
sure.
indirectly now. He knows about it. It's in the paper.
But if he comes into the shop, right, and says, "I want a gay cake, made for me,"
Can I just show you something?
if it's your middle finger, I'm really not interested.
No.
I'm still sore from the last time. Hey, she'd written down cake. 5 points. That's the word of the day, cake. That's enough, Stevie. Calm down. If they said we're not going to make a cake for you, and that was it, then that's fine.
I mean,
if they
the
said
cake itself is not gay. It's just a cake. It's a bit of sponge and some jam.
It's got what in it? It's a what?
Sponge and some jam.
Okay. That's I'm right, aren't I, Justin?
I think it's a tricky one, okay? If I was running a restaurant and I didn't like somebody and I didn't want them in my restaurant, it's my right to say, sorry, guys, I don't want to serve you.
It's not the same thing because you're making something to someone's specifications and you're objecting to the message that's been put on it. Do you know who would be good on this one?
Go on.
Oh, Scott Bowles, right?
Yeah.
If someone comes into his T-shirt shop and asks for a slogan that he doesn't approve of, can he say no?
Scott Bowles has sent me a message saying, so you think a shop should be able to put a sign in their window saying no blacks? That's what you're saying effectively. Not at all. The baker has not said gay people are not allowed in this shop. He's not said that. They want to go in and buy some buns. They can go in and buy some buns.
Doesn't approve of the message.
He just doesn't want to put that message on the cake, which is totally within his rights.
Ultimately, it's up to him. If he wants to make that cake, it's his choice, and if he doesn't want to make it, well, he doesn't have to. It's his business, you know. I don't agree with his views, but if he doesn't want to make it, that's his issue.
Actually, if the shoe, when you think about it, would you want to give that person your money anyway? Go somewhere else. I don't want any begrudging work done for me, thank you.
I turn down work because I don't turn anything down.
No.
I'm like Paul Ross. I don't turn anything down. Well, I turn down some things that he would say yes to.
Yeah.
I was about to say that was a low blow, but we should move on.
Clever.
It's well within my rights to turn down work that I don't want to do for whatever reason. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say to the person the reason I didn't want it. I turned down a charity thing the other day. I don't fancy it. Don't pull that face.
Did you not approve of the charity?
It wasn't a charity that was particularly close to me. And also, I don't really do charity things.
You're charityist.
Sorry?
You're charityist.
Charitist.
I get loads of emails from people saying, "I come and do this charity." They were okay. It was something local. They wanted me to get a quiz team up with you guys.
Oh yes.
To go and do a quiz. And I said,
I'm always happy to.
Well, go, fine. I'll give you the details. You can go and do it.
They only want you, really. So there's no.
I said no. I'm not, no thanks. And that's well within my rights to do that.
Yeah.
What you give me the look for? You wouldn't want to do it, would you, Kels?
No.
Good, there you go. See.
No, I'm giving you the look because I'm waiting to see how you justify this. So.
I've got nothing to justify.
But it's because they mentioned the principle, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's because they mentioned the principle.
Principle?
Yeah.
What principle?
Well, they didn't just turn down the work. They said no because we don't believe in that.
We don't know they said that. You're making that up. You keep saying that as though it's a fact, and you don't know it.
Well, that is their argument in court. And stop pointing at me.
They have
my own pen. I lent you.
They have to put that argument in court. They need to put an argument up in court. We don't know if they said that to the fella that came in who wanted this cake and said, no, we're not going to do it because you're a gay lord and we don't like gays. Right? That's out of order. Okay? You can have anything else you want in the shop. I'm not putting down this pro-gay marriage slogan because you're gay and we don't like gays. That would be inappropriate. We don't know they did that.
Well, let's find it. Let's find out exactly what the exchange
Scott Bowles said, who's a T-shirt printer, we don't print homophobic or racist slogans, but some of the stag and hen do's we print are pure filth. And that's right, because he sends me photos of the filthiest ones.
People love it, yeah.
Okay. A homophobic group goes in and wants a cake made, an ungake, a cake that says...
A strake.
We don't like men's bums. You going to make that cake? Are you going to discriminate? You're going to discriminate. You're going to discriminate against the homophobes. That is out of order. Ipso facto, catch-22.
No, but the law would back you up on that for equality reasons.
Justin Dealey.
Yes, boss.
Zayn Malik.
Oh, do you know what? People are still very upset about this.
Mate.
Yes, including you. I know you're upset.
Well,
you can talk to me. Come on.
I will not in any way denigrate or pick on people that are upset by him leaving. I cried when Davy Jones of the Monkees died, for goodness sakes.
Yes.
So I can understand why this... The thing is, I'm a 41-year-old man. I'm not a 16-year-old girl anymore.
Yeah.
But to a 16-year-old girls, or girls of a certain age, this is a hugely significant moment. They are mourning the loss of something.
Yeah,
this is a huge thing, and it annoys me that lots of people are kind of making fun of this. So what I'd like you to do, Justin, is kind of make fun of this a bit, and speak to lots of old VFs who will have no idea who Zayn Malik is, and ask them how they're feeling about it. Basically, is what I've got in my head.
If that's what you want, I shall, go on the street straight away and get cracking on this one.
Thank you, boss. I'll speak to you later. I miss that guy. I miss that guy so much. You got any more stories? You've got a minute.
No.
Oh, I'll do one. I've got a good one. Mobility scooters. Did you see this?
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
This is...
Tow your boat.
This is flipping brilliant. So it's an old fella in a mobility scooter, which I've got no time for these things.
No, but you know what? I appreciate a can-do attitude.
So he's in America, of course. Although, fair play, I saw an old boy in a mobility scooter the other day going down the road. It's not in America. I do apologise. It's in Hartlepool. A mobility scooter owner tows his boat through a town centre at 2 miles per hour, leaving chaos in his wake. Traffic queues built up as he set off for a fishing jaunt, even stopping at a shop on the way. Online butcher, Luke Cartridge, 22, revealed he was the culprit, explaining he bought the scooter second-hand for £120 after breaking a leg. I set off towing the rowing boat with my girlfriend Natasha walking beside me. Suddenly I saw traffic jams way back behind me. On the way back, the police asked me to park up, though they did say I'd done nothing wrong! Flipping brilliant.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 clockwise, there are delays on the exit slip road at junction 25 for the A10 towards Enfield. And having a look at the speed sensors on the North Orbital Road, it's starting to build up around the M25 junction 21A roundabout. In Borehamwood, on the A1 Barnet bypass, there are queues southbound from the Holiday Inn turn-off towards Stirling Corner. And elsewhere in Milton Keynes, there's roadworks on Standing Way. They're at the Kingston roundabout, so expect delays there later on this morning. On the train departure boards, there's no reports of any major delays at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you so much, Sammy. It's a staple of radio phone-ins. We can talk about the gake if you want, if that floats your boat. I believe that the baker was well within his rights to turn down making a gay cake.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Luton Airlines changed flight rules after Alps crash. Bedfordshire care home boss to be sentenced. And Cameron and Miliband both claim victory in first TV election debate.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A number of airlines, including Luton-based EasyJet and Monarch, have changed their flight procedures from this morning in response to Tuesday's plane crash in the French Alps. French officials say it was caused by the co-pilot Andreas Lubitz from Germany, who locked the captain out of the cockpit. German police say they've made a significant discovery at his home, but haven't given details. The airlines say they will now have 2 crew members in the cockpit at all times. Captain Mike Vivian is a former Civil Aviation Authority inspector.
I would hope that there's going to be a long, calm, cool look at what has taken place when the evidence has become available, because at the moment we haven't got it all. If we have to put somebody else on, what you're actually saying is, I don't trust the person who's remaining in the flight deck. And that's a serious step to take.
The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire care home where an elderly woman died after falling out of a body sling will be sentenced today. Mohammed Zarouk, whose company GA Properties ran Meppershall Care Home, pleaded guilty to the charges brought by the Health and Safety Executive. More from Carol Abercrombie.
The case was brought following the death of May Ward, who was 100 years old. An inquest heard she fell from the sling because 2 carers hadn't had proper training. Mohammed Zarouk has admitted breaching Section 3 of the Health and Safety at Work Act for failing to protect people in the workplace other than employees.
A man will appear at Luton Crown Court today, charged with committing murder at a travellers' site in Buckinghamshire. 33-year-old Addy McAllister from Derbyshire is accused of killing Adam Fanelli from Dunstable in the village of Nash last week. A second man remains in custody. 2 men from Luton have been charged with terror offences following an investigation by Scotland Yard officers. 38-year-old Ibrahim Anderson and 62-year-old Shah Jahan Khan are accused of inviting support for a banned organisation. Both have been bailed to appear in court next month. Both the Conservatives and Labour are claiming victory in last night's Leaders televised election programme. Jeremy Paxman and a studio audience questioned David Cameron and Ed Miliband, who appeared separately. Norman Smith has more.
This was perhaps a much tougher experience than either man had expected. Mr Cameron's aides adamant the Prime Minister had triumphed by stressing the strength of the economy. Mr Miliband's aides insistent that the Labour leader had put in a much more aggressive and self-confident performance. Both men, though, faced a bruising time at the hands of Jeremy Paxman. Mr Cameron seemingly discomfited when challenged over food banks and 0 hours contracts. Ed Miliband, meanwhile, had to vehemently rebuff suggestions that he wasn't tough enough to be Prime Minister.
In sport, world champion Lewis Hamilton suffered an engine failure in first practice for Sunday's Malaysian Grand Prix, whilst his Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg was fastest. And ahead of tomorrow's trip to Northampton, Luton have signed Aston Villa left-back Lewis Kinsella on loan. The weather dry with sunny spells, a maximum temperature 12 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Thank you to Justin for filling in the last couple of days. The voice was a little bit dicky, but through the power of loads of drugs and steaming, I have a voice back. Oh, I went for an amazing massage as well on Wednesday. Oh, I treated myself, had a massage. Oh, it was incredible. It was an hour long, and the young lady said to me, how would you like it, sir? I said, hard. Give it to me hard. And boy, did she. Gay cake? Gake? I think that the owner of the bakers were right to say no to decorating a cake with a pro-gay slogan. As long as they didn't, kind of come out and say it in an abusive fashion, what's the problem? Self-employed, you turn down work if you want.
Bit silly doing it to a gay activist, though, because this is going to happen, isn't it?
Well, no, not silly doing it to a gay
Well,
activist.
of course he's going to take it to the nth degree.
Well, how do we know he's a gay activist? How did the bakers know he was a gay activist?
Because it was for an event supporting.
Oh, yeah, because only gay activists do events.
I think a gay activist is something else.
08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
So
this is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let's have some texts, please, Catherine.
Oh, no.
I knew you wouldn't be ready.
Well, because I'm looking for the gate details. Because you've been poning me this morning.
This massage was incredible. This young Thai woman who's well, get this. I won't go into too much detail, but we were chatting while she was walking on me. And we were talking about kids and stuff, and I asked what her kids' names were. She was from Thailand, and her kids have very, very English names.
Yep.
I'm going to change the names, but it was something of the equivalent of Henry and Stephen. I said, gosh, those are very English names. She said, well, my husband is English, right? So the kids were called... One kid was called Henry Stephen Jones. I'm changing the names, but one kid was called Henry Stephen Jones. Mm-hmm. The other kid was called Stephen Jones. And the dad was called Henry Stephen Jones.
They found a formula they liked.
Isn't that weird? And she did this thing, right? So towards the end of the massage, she made me sit up, cross my legs, and I had my hands interlocked behind my head, right? She then put one leg between my legs, her arms through my arms, and then pulled my legs to the right, my body to the left.
Wow.
It was incredible. I've never had anything like it. And I just started giggling. There was one bit as well, she was massaging, like, under my arm.
What?
And I'm giggling. I was trying not to giggle. And they went, oh, you've got to stop. You've got to stop.
She was tickling you.
She was tickling me. There are some fetishists. Some fetishes I get. Some, it just leaves me perplexed.
I don't get the shoe thing.
Oh, I could understand the shoe thing.
The sniffing of shoes?
Oh, I don't get that. No, I can understand. But anyway, some people pay women to tie them up and tickle them. Honestly, to tickle them. It's a form of submission and of being controlled. Imagine that. I would hate it.
Oh gosh, no.
I would hate it. Do you like being tickled, Shouty Chris?
Depends what I'm doing before I get tickled, Ian.
Oh.
Hello, cheeky. maybe having it away with a prisoner. Yeah. What have you got for us? What have you got for us, Shouty?
Actually, I have to say, I don't often think you're right, Ian.
What?
But on this one, you are the gay cake. Right? If someone does not want to make something on their premises, they shouldn't have to. And the man who prints T-shirts...
Yeah, Scott Balcony, yes, he's listening. He's yes.
Right, Scott, would you print someone coming up with a picture of Jihadi John and a beheaded person on the other side saying, this is great?
But I don't think the equality laws protect those people. That's the difference.
The problem is, Kath, we're going now beyond principles. People have principles which gives them integrity, right? If people aren't allowed to have their principles, then we've lost all integrity, and unfortunately there's a lot of integrity gone in this country.
What about if those principles are based on bigotry and prejudice?
They can do what they want as long as they don't voice it.
Who, the bigots or the gays?
Anybody. We're supposed to be a free country. Everyone's supposed to be allowed to have their own opinion.
Okay,
but
so I have the opinion that the West is decadent and all non-Muslims should be killed. Am I allowed to have that opinion?
Mate, people have those opinions. There's not a lot we can do about it. But as long as you don't go out and shoot them, then let them get on with it. I don't particularly care for some of my neighbours, but I don't go out and tell them what a bunch of idiots they are.
Oh, I tell my neighbours. I tell my neighbours what plums they are.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if I started up a business and I didn't want to make something to someone for whatever reason, I should be entitled not to do it because that's my freedom. They've got their freedom to go somewhere else and buy their cakes. They've got somewhere else to go and do things. But
Chris, I've got to move on because we've got lots to cram into the show this morning, but thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555.
I was going to say, I found an article with a bit more detail in it.
Okay.
From The Guardian.
Okay. Would you want to get up our next guest before we do that? Or...
Wow.
Well, I just mean...
2 days. I've been holding the fort while you've been being pummeled by some Thai woman, and now you start throwing your weight
I
back.
want to give John the full crack of the whip, because it's a cracking story. And I want to give you the full crack of the whip, young lady, as well. I want you to make sure you've got time to go into the detail while I destroy you with an argument yet again. 08459 455 555.
On FM, AM, online and digital radio.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
You can send us a text as well, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Or you can send me an email, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk. The managing director of a care home company is due to be sentenced today after a 100-year-old woman died following an incident at one of his facilities. May Ward fell from a sling at the Meppershall care home 5 years ago. The two carers responsible have since left the country, but GA Properties boss Mohammed Zarouk pleaded guilty to the charges brought by the Health and Safety Executive. Well, May's son, John Ward, joins me now. Morning, John.
Good morning.
Sorry for your loss. Tell us about Mum. What was she like and how long had she been in a care home?
She was quite an amazing woman, actually. She was a publican, and she loved all sort of foods, really, dairy foods especially. she lived in the care home for about 6 years and enjoyed it most of the time.
She liked a bit of cheese, did she, John?
She loved a bit of cheese.
Isn't it
and
funny?
the cream cake.
She was 100 years old, and it's quite often the people that reach these ripe old ages don't eat or drink particularly healthily, do they?
No, exactly. Yes, and the fact that she lived in a pub for quite a few years with smoke and everything. It was quite remarkable that she lived to the ripe old age.
It must have been difficult for her and for you when she did move into a care home.
Yes, it was always my intention that she would stay with us, but unfortunately, deterioration with her age, and she said to me one day. She'd had a fall, and she said to me one day, "I need to go into a home now."
Gosh,
it's about time, you know.
Isn't that remarkable?
It hurts you to think that, but yes, it is. It is quite remarkable.
Yeah, it's amazing that it was her suggestion to do that.
Yes. Yeah, it was. Yes. Yeah, I had no intentions of ever putting her in a home. But for her own safety, more than anything else.
Well, I understand, John. My mum, nowhere near as old as that, but falls a lot, and she went into a care home, and you know, one of the things when we put our parents and our loved ones in these places is we expect them to be safe, and she was safe for a long time, wasn't she?
She was indeed, yes. I mean, we used to go regular to see her and take her some cakes and ice cream and what have you, little treats, and. She always said, I really like it here, and obviously she was getting older, and her ability to move was very, very limited, and of course when you get to 100, she becomes very, very frail. But she had good times. There were some very, very caring people there.
Now, the situation with the hoist, I think I'm familiar with these hoists. Again, Mum uses a similar one. It's the one that's on a rail, is it, above the bed, and you kind of strap the person in, you lift them off the bed, and then you lower them onto a wheelchair or to wherever it is they're going. Is that right?
Well, this is more of a manoeuvrable one. Right. You can go from room to room.
OK, so the hoist itself is on wheels and you can move that around.
That's right.
OK.
Yeah.
Well, what happened?
Well, basically, two carers came, brought her into her room, put her in the hoist. She should have been in an all-day sling, which she never was. They sat her into the hoist without strapping her in at all, and lifted the hoist up to a great height, and she tipped out. She fell on her head. She had a fractured skull and numerous other injuries. But it didn't stop there, unfortunately. As we all know, a head injury, you don't move anyone. And they picked her up, they put her back in the hoist, put her on the bed, changed all her clothes, which we never saw again. I would have surmised that they were covered in blood. They then redressed her, they put her back in the hoist, put her in the chair, and sort of left her. Numerous time passed.
Sorry, they didn't call a doctor or an ambulance or anything immediately?
No.
Hey.
This numerous time passed, and they realised that she was bleeding from the nose, I think by then, that she was in terrible pain. They called the head nurse, who came in and said, "Well, call the ambulance," because there was a discrepancy when one of the guys turned up from the ambulance crew. They tried to say that there'd been a call made earlier, and he said, "No, this was the first call that was made." There was a lot of things, hidden times and everything, and I don't really know how long she was suffering for at that period.
But they were definitely trying to cover up their mistake.
Of course, yes. There were so many lies told. Yes, unfortunately.
The the carers responsible left the country, so they can't be questioned or anything. How does that make you feel?
It's sickening. When someone dies like that, and it's the cause of neglect or carelessness, the health and safety rules were broken. They were. Why were they allowed to leave the country without being at trial or anything like that? They were interviewed by the police. Both their reports married up. They said exactly the same thing. So it was a little bit of discrepancy there. But Mr. Zaruk is a very clever man.
This is the gentleman who's he's the care home manager, is he? Or he's the GA Properties boss, isn't he?
He's the boss. He's the main man, yes.
He's being sentenced today.
Yes.
What do you expect to happen?
Unfortunately, not very much. I think health and safety expected to have him fined quite a few £100,000. Unfortunately, his business has gone upside down, and obviously, since the inquest, which was 2 years ago, Mr. Zaruk has had enough time to dissolve his assets. So
he's got no money to pay?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Don't forget, he had 3 care homes at one stage. So I would surmise the best scenario, £5,000 fine, and that we'd be very lucky, I think. But it's not coming to me; it goes to health and safety.
Have you spoken to Mr. Zaruk at all?
I had a meeting with Mr. Zaruk on the Tuesday after the bank holiday when my mother had died. I turned up with 3 of my sons, and we'd made the appointment for 1 o'clock. We walked into his office, and he was sitting there eating his dinner. Had no respect for us at all, which was very, very rude of him. At the inquest, the coroner asked Mr. Zaruk if he'd met me at all. He looked over at me and said, "No, I've never met Mr. Ward at all." And that's the sort of person he is.
John, I skipped a little bit of the story. The mum fell and cracked her head, and the ambulance came eventually. How long after that did she pass?
She passed away on the Saturday, on the 28th, Saturday evening, about 5:15.
And so the accident, that happened on the Friday?
It happened on the Friday. Yeah.
On the Friday.
Yeah.
Did you get to see her before she died?
No, we were on holiday.
Oh, man.
And
oh, dear.
The fortunate thing was one of my sons was there by her bedside, and being a bank holiday, it was very, very hard to get a flight.
Yeah, of course.
But we managed to get it for the Saturday evening, and I got back and I was too late, which was very, very hurtful. My son was in tears.
Well, one of your boys was there, so that's some small blessing, isn't it? That's something.
She had someone to hold on to.
You grab comfort where you can. John, this is just such an horrific story, and I know loads of my listeners have got people in care homes, and I know it's a rarity, and I always like to say that most people in care homes are brilliant and great and do a great job. This is very sad. Can we talk to you on Monday when we know the result of the verdict today?
Yeah, by all means.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
John, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
And you.
Thank you. No doubt Roberto will pick up on that later on today, but it'd be good if we could speak to John on Monday and find out exactly what happened and how he's feeling. John, thank you very much indeed. It's BBC Three Counties Radio. 7:19, these are your headlines. A number of airlines, including Luton-based EasyJet and Monarch, have changed their flight procedures from this morning in response to the plane crash in the French Alps. The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire care home where an elderly woman died after falling out of a body sling will be sentenced today. And a poll of viewers gave David Cameron a narrow victory over Ed Miliband in last night's election debate.
The Three Counties Radio.
Monday Night Sport is a sports programme unlike any other. I love going somewhere where the sport takes place. Go to the judo club in Aylesbury where he almost got strangled to death.
He's just about to get flung in the air and crash to the floor.
Yes, it is about sport, but it's also about us two having a bit of a giggle at the same time.
Anywhere on the green, he's got one over on Lucy, the US Open competitor. Oh, I think we can see that.
We've had some great ones.
I thought the wakeboarding was just tremendous.
Yeah.
That is so far out of our comfort zone. I don't quite know how I fell off, but I think it was something to do with the balance.
And of course, you can see all the videos on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BBC3CR.
Three Counties Sport on BBC Three Counties Radio.
On FM, AM, online and digital radio.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now The UKIP branch in Luton says it's prepared for insults when it officially opens its doors tomorrow. The party is having its opening ceremony at midday at its Crawley Road office on the outskirts of Bury Park. Bedfordshire Police say they will have officers on the ground in anticipation of the event. Well, joining me in the studio now is the UKIP candidate for Luton South, Iain Raymond. Morning, Iain. What kind of trouble are you expecting?
Well, we're not anticipating any trouble, but things can happen. I mean, up and down the country, whenever we have opened offices, you have seen certain incidents, obviously. The protesters have come on.
Because your agent, Bob Clements, has told the paper that you are expecting idiots and that there may be some sort of protest.
Well, the rumours were there is going to be some form of protest from different groups, especially the anti-race alliance and such groups. They have turned up. I mean, even Nigel Farage a couple of weeks back, or a couple of days back.
Why would the anti-race alliance be coming?
Basically, there was a rally in Luton a couple of months back. There was one from the EDL and there was from the Alliance Against Fascism, United Against Fascism. And I attended that rally myself, even I was a UKIP candidate.
Right.
And actually, some of the speakers there, they spoke more against UKIP than they spoke against EDL.
Why do you think that was?
I don't know. I don't understand. Because I think they're just trying to align UKIP is somehow part of EDL. There is a huge difference between UKIP and EDL and other political parties. I mean, UKIP is a political party.
Why do you think that some people view UKIP as a racist party?
I think this is a perception which has been created through the media, and unfortunately, some members. The UKIP is a new party. Obviously, the selection process itself has not been as rigorous as it should have been. So, result have been obviously the certain comments made by certain individuals. They've been associated with the party as a policy, and I am a member of ethnic minority community. I'm an immigrant myself. I mean, I came here as an immigrant, and I don't believe the UKIP is a racist party.
What's your ethnic background? If you don't, I wouldn't normally ask, but as you've raised it, I guess it is kind of relevant in this. What's your background?
Kashmiri.
Okay.
Yeah, I came to the country at the age of 15.
And what have you brought to the country?
What I brought to the country?
Yeah.
When I came here, I had very little, no English language. I went through an adult learning centre.
See, UKIP wouldn't have wanted... Isn't one of the rules of UKIP, or one of the ideals of UKIP, is people coming with very little and not speaking English, they frown upon that?
No. What UKIP is saying is basically...
Would UKIP allow people with very little who don't speak English to come into the country?
Look, I came as a child to the country, but UKIP has a very clear policy, actually.
What's their policy on foreign people who have nothing and can't speak English?
The policy is actually that people, if children, they come with families, the English is compulsory for the adults.
Could your parents speak English when they came?
Yes.
Fluently?
Not fluently, no.
And what did they have? What jobs did they have lined up when they came over?
My parents, when they came to the country back in the 60s, in those days, there was a huge requirement here for the labourers.
So what jobs did they have lined up when they came over? What skills did they have?
Very little skills.
See, they wouldn't be allowed under UKIP, would they? The UKIP policy is a points-based policy where only people with specific skills that are required to come over. They wouldn't have allowed your family to come over if it happened now.
No. But the thing is, you should look at the time now, how things are changing right now. I mean, we have...
UKIP wouldn't have allowed your family in.
No, we have changed as a country. We had a different economic circumstances in those days. We had a different requirements in terms of immigration. We have very different requirements right now. And if you look at the situation right now, we should control immigration, make it fair immigration
Stop
system.
People like your parents coming in?
Not stop people.
Well, but they didn't speak English properly. They had no skills to contribute. They had no work lined up. The UKIP policy is they would not be allowed in. You would not be allowed in.
No. When you compare the policy we have right now, because this is suiting the current circumstances of the country. I mean, right now, what sort of immigration we need? We need some.
We don't need your parents, and we don't need you if they were to apply now.
If they were applied to now, but you're talking about football.
So it's okay, but it's okay for you and your family because you're in now. You're in, and it's nice and safe.
It's not okay for my family or other families. Issue is, as a country, at some point you have to make some very tough decision. Right now, for example, the number of people we have living in this country and all the resources we have, from schooling to health, education, infrastructure in place, can we accommodate so many people coming to the country? Unfortunately, we can't. If you want to keep this country as a fairer society, as a tolerant society where people are accepted, even it doesn't matter which part of the world they come from, then you have to have some form of control. Right now, we don't have any controls. And when you give examples like myself, for example, the people, immigrants from my family background, when they came to the country, we came through a controlled immigration system.
But didn't speak English and had no skills and no work lined up. They wouldn't get in now.
But there was a controlled immigration system in place at that time. We had to apply for a visa and come through a visa system. We could not come to the country, just wake up and next day we arrive to the,
Well, neither can people outside of the EU, and you wouldn't be able to stop people from the EU coming in.
Why can't you stop? I think
well, because we're part of the European Union, and the rules are that people travel freely. Now, whether that's right or wrong is by the by. The people outside of the EU still need a visa to come in and out. People in Europe don't.
What we are trying to achieve is the UKIP is we want a clear referendum on EU or membership.
Well, David Cameron's going to give that. So, what is the point of UKIP?
Do you think that we have to wait till 2017?
Well, David Cameron is UKIP promising a referendum on Europe, or are you going to pull out if you were to become the leading party?
No, we're going to pull out of European Union.
So you're not going to offer a referendum?
Well, if the people have choice, if David Cameron offers a referendum, obviously,
which he said he will do.
Well, he said in 2017.
Yeah, 2 years away. Are you going to offer a referendum or not? Because you just mentioned that you were.
Yes.
So UKIP,
I will support a referendum.
If UKIP became the leading political party and won the election, UKIP would offer a referendum. They wouldn't just pull out.
Yes, of course we will.
You will.
Personally, I would support a referendum.
Because I thought the whole premise of UKIP was they would pull out of Europe.
Well, we will, and we know the results of the referendum. If you look at the statistics right now, different polls and analyses, actually, I think more than 60% of Brits, they want to pull out of European Union anyway.
And where are those figures from?
Well, I was reading some figures yesterday in some of the. I don't know exactly the source.
It is a divisive party, UKIP, isn't it? By its very politics, and so you could understand why some people might feel aggrieved that UKIP is setting up an office in Luton, although that's well within their rights, and also on the outskirts of Bury Park, which is a very ethnically diverse location. And where you have said yourself that immigrants who don't speak English and have no skills to offer would not be allowed in this country. There are many people in Bury Park whose English is limited at best.
Well,
why have you set the offices up there?
Why? I mean, look, we can set an office anywhere. I come from that part of the area, Bury Park. We found a vacant shop unit there, and we decided to open an office. It's not that we're going to grieve anyone. It's basically people need to understand right now the UKIP policy on immigration, and especially calling for controlled immigration, is for everyone's benefit.
What is the UKIP policy on immigration, so that people are clear?
The UKIP's policy on immigration is the most important thing is to have a controlled immigration system in place.
But you can't control Europe.
No, we have to control Europe.
You can't.
No, but. We can't, but we want control over Europe.
But you can't.
No, we want the same system. If we come in power, we will have one immigration system for everyone. Doesn't matter from which part of the world you come from.
But you can't control Europe unless you pull out of Europe. You can't control European immigration.
But again, that's the whole purpose of UKIP fighting these elections. We want the British people to support us so that we can make concrete decisions on our membership of EU.
Okay. What people do you want to come into this country?
The people... in the future, people with skills.
Which skills?
People with skills, different areas, for example.
Which different areas?
It depends on if they are need in certain.
For example.
Yes. For example, soft engineers.
Okay, we need soft engineers, do we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's shortage.
Yep.
Nurses, they're coming.
Yeah.
Doctors.
Okay. They've
been coming to our country traditionally for many years.
Mm-hmm. So doctors, nurses, and soft engineers could come in,
if they are need. I mean, it's all based on need.
But you must have a list. If this is the policy, there must be a list of there must have a table of need.
List will be obviously published in due course. You will be analysing your industrial sectors, different employment sectors.
When will that list? Will that list be published before the general election?
Hopefully. some of the things will be in our manifesto, actually.
Okay, so the list of people that we require for different jobs will be listed in the manifesto.
Yes.
So that we will know which.
Of course. And secondly, last week I was listening to when Nigel Farage made the employers they should choose the British first. We should give the. And I was listening to comments made by several people, even on the radio show. I think it was with JVS. One thing I want to clear is this: that when Nigel said that we should give importance to British residents, the word I think was used, the residents, in terms of employment opportunities, and I think he was absolutely right.
Your parents wouldn't have got that work then.
I give you an example.
But your parents wouldn't have got a job then.
But can I give you an example? British residents.
You're turning your back on your parents.
No, I'm not turning my back on my parents. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Countries, they make decisions based on needs and situations.
Yeah.
In 2003, I applied for a job in Dubai.
Yeah.
I had a PhD. I fulfilled all the requirements. I went through the interview process. Finally, the company in Dubai came back to me. They said, you know what, we can't employ you. Only for one reason. Because you're not a Dubai national. Because the law in Dubai is that if there is a job opportunity, the employer must give first preference to a Dubai national.
Would you want to make that law in this country?
No. Now, right now, if you see the unemployment amongst all young people, doesn't matter which background, which color they belong to, is very high. I mean, even last week...
Would you want to make that law, the law in Dubai, where they have to give the priority...
Preference.
You would like to make that law in this country?
Of course.
Well, then your parents need to step down from whatever job it is they've been doing, because your parents would have been excluded from that. They wouldn't have been allowed to work.
But rather than talking about historical situations, we should look into the future. I mean, look...
No, but it is pertinent. You're turning your back... If your parents had come over with these rules in place, they would not have been given a job.
It's not turning back. It's basically looking at the situation right now and who is important to us.
It's okay for you and your parents because you've slipped in under the net, but now you want to change it. That's what it sounds like.
No, it's not. It's not that I want to change it. I think the country needs change because we have so many young people born and brought up in this country right now, and they are unemployed. The wages are suppressed.
We've been talking about care homes. And I don't know if you've ever been into a care home or seen care homes. The majority of people that work in care homes are immigrants, are Polish. Czechs, Romanians, maybe not so many Romanians, but a lot of Polish and Czechs. They do that job because British people don't want to do that job. If we turn down immigrants for work, then the NHS would fail. Care homes would fail, wouldn't they? Because there's nobody that wants to do those jobs.
No. One of the reasons, you must ask another question. Why the British people...
Or you could address that point.
No, I can address that point. Why British people don't want to do their job? Why? The reason is being the wages are suppressed. These care homes...
If you put the wages up in care homes and the wages should be more, those care homes would close down because nobody could afford... The country would go bankrupt.
No, they would not close down.
The country would go bankrupt because we couldn't afford the bill.
No. If the wages are fairer and the people are motivated, and I can assure you that there are many people in the country here, those are willing to work and find employment opportunities. But unfortunately, it's much easier for people.
So you would put minimum wage up?
For businesses, yes, we will. For businesses, it's much easier for some businesses, or certain businesses actually, to look at their profitability rather than look at the other side of things, like the conscious, the morally, would they employ somebody locally? Would they look after somebody is from their area, from their locality? I mean, these are some questions, right, which are associated with our moral understanding of the situation. But going back to again, giving priority, in my views, to somebody who is resident here for employment is a fair thing to do. And when we compare ourselves going back to 60s and 50s and 70s, things were very different, and now things are very different. In those days, we didn't have such a large number of people from immigrant communities in the country. But right now, we have. We have people of all colours, all nationalities, all sort of views. And you know what? There was a Guardian report, even the shadow minister for the Labour Party mentioned the unemployment amongst British-born, ethnic minority graduates is the highest Almost 41,000 of them are unemployed in the country, across the country. Question is why? They're born and bred here. Some of them are graduates. They have skills.
Probably because there are more of them than there were 10, 15 years ago.
It's not that. It's basically when the employers, or some employers, take an abundant number of people coming to the country from outside, willing to work for a very low wage, they would employ them.
How do you know that it's not because more and more people are going to university? There are more and more graduates coming out with degrees. How do we know we're not flooding the market? Where do you know that from?
Statistically, right now, that lots of people are going to university because of tuition fees. I mean, look at the tuition fees.
Yeah, but people are still going to university. That's had, whether that's right or wrong, that people pay £9,000 a term or whatever it is, up to £9,000 a term. There are still more people going to university than ever before. So more people are coming out of university than ever before with degrees.
Yeah, but
so you can't necessarily say the reason that number of people are coming out with degrees and not getting work is because of immigration. It's because there are more of them with degrees.
No, I mean, immigration is a serious issue. If you talk to local people, the people living in the area for last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, even people like myself,
but you're an immigrant. That's what I don't understand. You're an immigrant. You're one of the people that you're complaining about.
And I'm proud of that, because this country, our country, has always welcomed immigrants.
But now you don't want to. We've got enough.
No, to the control system.
Yeah.
I mean, what we need to do is have a control system in place.
Okay, so we've got enough now.
One rule for everyone. Like Australians have, New Zealand has a system in place, Canadians have it.
When Australia introduced the point system,
yes,
immigration went up or down? Up. It went up. Immigration went up. So you're effectively saying you want a system that would allow more people to come in.
No, it went up based on needs. Look, if we believe in this country, if we need more immigration, if we need more skills people, through a fair, controlled system, I have no problem with that. But issue is uncontrolled mass immigration, which is changing the makeup of our country. And actually society at all, if you look at the overall picture of the society, issues which we can address, for example, is that there's a shortage of everything in terms of schooling, the class sizes in schools, infrastructure, from transportation to anything you mention. Can we cater for so many people? Is our NHS designed? For example, if you build a house for four members of family, and you bring 20 people into the house, how are you going to manage it?
Well, what does it matter how many people are living in a house if they're living in? I don't understand that point.
Well, the point is, as a country, our government, we make certain decisions and we make...
but I don't get the house point. What does it matter if you buy a house who live in there?
The house is this. Like, if you consider this country as a house for all of us, as a family home, yes? Okay, different.
I'm going to go with it, although it's tenuous, yes.
Yes, okay. Now, it's designed for a certain number of people.
How many people?
Well...
Is it a four-bedroom house that we're living in? Is it detached?
Well, look, I'll give you an example. But
is it a bungalow?
No, but it's a country we live in,
yes,
which has tolerated everyone, which has given the basic rights to all of us.
Yeah.
We have been, I believe, since I've been in this country for 26 years, this is one of the most tolerant society I ever been to.
And you'd like to change that?
No, tolerant society. Do you want to keep that level of tolerance in place? Yes. So if you want to keep that, you should control your borders.
So we're going to remain tolerant by turning some people away?
Of course you have to.
So who are we going to? Are we going to kick people out? Are we going to ask people to leave?
No, we're not asking people to leave.
So people that are here that can stay.
UKIP policy is not deportation of anyone who is legally resident in this country.
Okay.
None of those people, those live here legally, will be deported to anywhere, wherever they come from.
Mm-hmm.
Our policy is, in future, we need to control immigration. And that's
I'm still not completely sure how you... Listen, we're running out of time, Iain, and I appreciate you expanding on some of the finer points of the UKIP manifesto to be. Let's just quickly get back to the reason you're here. The office is opening up. Is it opening up? It's today, is it?
No, it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Saturday.
It's Friday, isn't it? And what are you planning? What are you going to be doing?
We have a couple of high-profile people coming to the office.
Who's coming?
One of them is Stuart Agnew, MEP for the region. There will be several people coming from Bedfordshire branch, Hamel Hampstead, hopefully from Watford. We have a large local membership. Luton, in the last European election just gone, we were the second largest party in Luton in terms of number of votes. UKIP had about nearly 11,000 votes. So,
will there be tea and cake tomorrow?
Of course.
Excellent. Then that's all. Yasin, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, 08459 455 555. Beat that, Paxman. It was
Interesting fella.
Yasin Raymond there from the Luton South branch of UKIP, and good for him for sitting there and defending himself robustly. Have we got any texts?
Yeah, we have.
Have you logged into the text machine?
Yes, I have.
Wowzers.
Oh, you want me to read them?
Yes, please.
The cake. The cake that was causing too much trouble. Please, oh please, tell me it was a fruit cake. Living in hope, Dave.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that.
Gary from Leighton Buzzard. Didn't this gay cake fiasco not happen last year too? Cracking show, keep up the good work. Thanks very much for that. Hope you're well. Concerning the bakers, I disagree. If I'm offered a job with an employer who I later discover is gay, is it then okay for me to refuse to speak to him and stop work because of my views? Great show as always. Don't forget the new Justin clip. Thanks, Elliot and Bath.
Okay.
Maffin Hanslope.
Cream horn.
I think the cake makers would have made the cake, but the decoration required was not to their ideals. I recall when ordering a set of football kits, the owner of the company refused to put 13 on the second goalkeeper shirt. I think it's quite the same. Took the order without the number and got it added elsewhere. Maffin Hanslope. I mean, I think they've picked the wrong fella to do battle with. I've got some more detail on it if you would like.
Yeah, this is the story. For those who missed it, I tell you what, let's do that in a second. Let me just go to this caller. Morning, Ian.
Morning.
What have you got for us, boss?
I just think the last chap that you were talking to, I thought the radio presenter was a bit obnoxious. The bloke was talking about moving forward with information. You kept reversing back to saying his parents he wouldn't have slipped in under the system. An unemployment problem where our own people should be doing jobs, whether they want to do them or not, they shouldn't be given a choice. You know, they should be filling these...
People, our own people, Ian, whatever that means, I don't know what that means, and we can investigate that, but our own people are given the option for these jobs. They say no.
Well, they shouldn't be, you know, they give, in other countries, they're not given the choice of benefits. They don't receive money.
The benefits is the problem.
Pardon?
Benefits is the problem, you're saying?
No, well, what it is, these people on benefits, some people would rather just sit there, not only a small minority...
These people on benefits.
Money
yeah.
for nothing.
You ever been on benefits, Ian?
Yes, I have.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's absolutely horrible, and it's a terrible situation to be in. Yes. And you just said yourself, it's a small minority that sit on their backsides.
Exactly.
OK, so if you put the small minority to one side, the vast majority who won't want to work, why don't they do the crappy jobs that all the Polish people do?
Well, because everyone in this world wants to bear themselves and to move on. I took the first job I could to get off.
Well, you've just argued against it, Ian. You've just argued against yourself. You said that the majority of people want to work. Well, then why aren't they doing the jobs, the poorly paid jobs in care homes where they've got to wipe old people's backsides?
Because there's too many people coming in, taking the job.
No. They could go for those jobs themselves. They don't. Why don't they?
Because they don't want it, because they're getting money for nothing.
No, Ian, you're arguing against yourself. Focus. You've said it's a small minority of people signing on that don't want to work. Let's put those to one side. So the vast majority of people signing on that want to work, why aren't they working in care homes, wiping old people's backsides for minimum wage?
The simple fact is they've been trained to do other jobs. And they don't want to do that to learn the profession.
So hang on. So it's a majority of people that want to sit on their backsides then.
That chap who was on there, I don't know his name. He talked absolute sense.
No, but Ian, with the greatest respect, Ian, with the greatest respect, you're not, because you're contradicting yourself. Now focus. I'm going to give you one more chance. You're saying, I'll give you one more chance, Ian, because you're not doing very well. You're saying that there are a small minority of people that don't want to work, okay?
Exactly.
Let's put those to one side. They're gone. Let's focus on the big majority of people that are signing on that do want to work, OK? So they want to work, they're keen to work, they'll take any job. Why aren't they going to work in care homes?
How do you know they will take any job?
Oh, flip it, Iain, because that's the argument you just put forward, mate. Flippin' heck. Iain, try again. Listen back to yourself, see where you went wrong and try again. 08459 455 555. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 clockwise, there's a lane closed between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 18 for Chorleywood because of a broken down crane which is causing delays. And anti-clockwise on the M25, it's looking slow between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 14 for Heathrow Terminal 4. On the M1 towards London, it's looking slow through junction 9 from Redbourne, and in Beaconsfield on the speed sensors on Park Lane, it's very slow at Candlemas Lane. On the trains, the 746 service from Welwyn Garden City to Moorgate is delayed. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 7:46, it's Friday the 27th of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A number of airlines, including Luton-based EasyJet and Monarch, have changed their flight procedures from this morning in response to the plane crash in the French Alps. The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire care home where an elderly woman died after falling out of a body sling will be sentenced today. And a poll of viewers gave David Cameron a narrow victory over Ed Miliband in last night's first live election debates. Let's get the weather.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Here's the weather with Elizabeth.
Hello, yeah.
Go on, Elizabeth, let's have it.
Oh, hello, good morning. It's going to be a pretty nice day today. Some sunny spells around, nice and pleasant in the sunshine with just light winds. Top temperatures of up to 11 Celsius, 52 in Fahrenheit. Overnight tonight, things will turn quite cloudy, quite murky. A few outbreaks of drizzle into tomorrow morning, but mild as well, some milder air pushing through. So we'll start off the day tomorrow on 6 or 7 degrees. Cloudy through the morning, some spells of rain through the first part of the afternoon, then brightening up. It will turn very breezy over the weekend. A strong westerly wind on Saturday, a strong northwesterly wind on Sunday. That'll blow down a few showers and it will also feel a bit chillier. There's your weekend weather.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Every day it's not just about great music and great conversation.
I'll get a bit technical here.
It's about local experts helping you across beds, Herts and bucks.
So what we're talking about then is capital gains tax potentially on the portion of the property that they directly own.
On finance, relationships.
But look at the way that you have contributed to this situation.
Health.
When you have a cough, which can seem quite innocuous in this way, but just irritating, asthma is something that we would think of.
Your pets.
Particularly if your dog is a border collie cross, it will be epilepsy.
And even law.
You still cannot say, Judge, you have to stick to this. But the judge's approach now is going to be, well, why shouldn't we?
Local advice for local people.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
We will get back to the gay cake story, the cake. We will do that, I promise. We're all over the shop this morning, I apologise. A Welwyn Garden City woman was so shocked to see an apparently terrified cat being walked on a lead. She's posted a video of the incident online. You can see it if you go to our Facebook page. It's Lily Dance's video. Lily joins you on the line now. Morning, Lily.
Hiya.
So where and when did this happen? Tell us what you saw.
So basically on Sunday, I was on Beehive Lane waiting for my friend outside the dentist. And I saw the lady obviously walking her cat about 5 o'clock it was.
And the cat's on a lead?
Yeah.
And from the video I've seen, it's only about 10 seconds long. It's quite short. It's kind of... Well, it looks like it's being dragged.
Yeah, the cat is being dragged down the road.
It's certainly walking reluctantly. Does it look like a particularly expensive cat, or is it just a moggy, do you think?
It just looked like a normal cat, but it looked quite young, to be honest.
Yeah. You went and spoke to the woman, did you?
No, I just kind of stood out the window. Maybe you should pick your cat up, because it doesn't look overly happy about being walked.
And did the woman say anything?
No, she just carried on walking.
It's weird, isn't it? It's really, really weird.
I think somebody else had a confrontation with her. I saw it on a post on Facebook on Spotted Well and Garden.
Right.
And apparently picking the cat up actually off the floor by its neck on the lead.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You posted this video online. What's the reaction been like?
To be honest, I didn't think this reaction would happen at all. Like, everybody's, like, saying animal cruelty and how they can't believe she's walked the cat, and then other people are saying it's only a cat and I don't see the problem with walking it, it's just giving it exercise. So, completely different reactions from a lot of people.
The thing is, I have heard of cats being walked on leads before, particularly if they're very expensive cats. You know, some cats cost like £300-400, and they kind of stay indoors and their owners take them out on leads. And back in the past, years ago, when I had a dog and I walked it, sometimes you needed to encourage it slightly. How long did you see the cat being pulled like this for?
The whole way down Beehive Lane, so probably a good 5 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah. And you've not seen her since?
No, I'm not. I live in Hitchin, so I'm not really in that area overly often.
How were your friends' teeth? Were they all right?
Yeah, they're all good, to be honest.
Excellent. Brilliant, good. Well, I'm glad that's... Lily, I appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing the video. If you look at the Facebook page, I'd love to get your comments on it. Alice Potter is a companion animal scientist for the RSPCA. What's a companion animal scientist, Alice?
Good question. So the RSPCA has a team of scientists which support all of the work that the RSPCA does. So that means supporting our animal centres and branches, our campaigns, our prosecutions teams, and it means also providing scientific and technical advice to external bodies like the government if needed.
Walking cats on leads is unusual, but it does happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does happen, yeah, and like you say, it isn't really common, but it does happen.
What's the RSPCA's view on cats on leads in general?
Our view is that we do have some concerns. All cats, like people, are individuals, so it will depend on the individual cat. The types of concerns we have are the fact that it doesn't really go in line with the cat's natural behaviour.
Yeah.
They're not dogs. They haven't been domesticated for as long as dogs have, and they're not used to being in that kind of close proximity to us. You know, when we have puppies, from very early on, they get used to wearing a collar and a lead or a harness, and they're walked around. Unless kittens have been introduced at an early age, it's likely to be a kind of scary and an unusual experience for them.
You've seen the footage. You've seen the footage of this cat, I believe. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's hard to say because obviously, like you said, it's such a snippet.
Yeah.
The cat does look like it's kind of being dragged and looks a bit distressed. You know, it's putting its front paws down like it wants to stop. Without seeing any more, it's hard to know how comfortable the cat is generally with walking on the lead, but it gives the impression that that particular cat wasn't particularly comfortable or relaxed about the situation.
If you saw something like that happening in the street, what would you do? Would you go and speak to the woman?
I would probably just try and take down as many details as I can about the identity of the cat and the identity
The
of
what?
the person.
The identity of the cat? How would you do that, Alice?
Just a description, just black and white with a big bushy tail. It had a red collar, didn't it? And it had a harness. And the lady and the location, and I would contact the RSPCA's 24-hour cruelty line and report it onto there if I had concerns.
And finally, Alice, have I got this right? The RSPCA's policy is that cats are way better than dogs. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Excellent
that's
stuff,
right, yeah.
Alice. Thank you very much for being a good sport. Alice Potter, companion animal scientist for the RSPCA. Cats are way better than dogs, guys. You know my thoughts on this. Way better than dogs. If you want to see the video, it's on our Facebook page.
On FM, AM, online and digital radio.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
We live in a world... We played a song by the Byrds earlier on, 8 Miles High. We live in a world where I can tweet something and David Crosby from the Byrds, and indeed Crosby, Stills and Nash, can either reply to it or, as he's done this morning, retweet it. I salute you, Mr. Crosby. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Right, the gay cake.
The cake.
It's is it Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland? Republic? It's Northern Ireland. A baker refused to put a pro-gay marriage slogan, on a cake. Bit windy, Pops, and it's now going to court.
Yeah. Here's the BBC's account of what happened.
I think the baker is within his rights as a self-employed person to turn down work if he wants. It depends how he did it.
I think the mistake was in expressing the view.
Well, did he express the view to the customer? Okay, let's hear the BBC, which are never biased or incorrect. Are they?
Well, I mean, we have to say as well that they've chosen to do this, and this is the word of a gay activist.
Yep.
So
a gactivist.
I don't think you can call him that.
Okay.
So he is going to kick off about it, isn't he? It's kind of his job.
Acto gay?
A man has told a court in Belfast that a baker's refusal to make a cake with a slogan in support of gay marriage made him feel like a lesser person. Asher's Baking Company faces a discrimination case brought with the support of the Equality Commission. Gareth Lee says he was treated with courtesy...
No relation.
What will you say? When he placed the order, he was treated with courtesy when he placed the order, but the bakery later said it could not fulfil it as it was a Christian firm. He said the woman who telephoned him about this was apologetic.
Oh.
However, he said he felt he was not worthy of service because he was gay. That's what this hinges on.
Okay, so but they were apologetic.
And because we're Christians.
They didn't say it's because you're dirty gays.
No, it's because we're Christians.
We're not going to make the cake.
No.
I'm so sorry, sir. It's because we're Christians we can't make the cake.
Mr. Lee said, I expressed disbelief. I couldn't believe this was happening. This is Northern Ireland. This shouldn't happen.
It's Northern Ireland? Well, hang on a second. It's Northern Ireland.
No, but it's not Southern Ireland. It's not
no,
the
but
Catholic,
still
Catholic.
Still, it's Northern Ireland.
He told a barrister, lots of people in Northern Ireland consider themselves more secular.
He told her who?
He told a barrister...
What was he doing in Costas?
Not a barista. For the firm. He later realised he'd been dealing with the firm's owner, Karen MacArthur. Mr. Lee told the county court in Belfast, I wasn't asking anyone to support my views on anything. It was just an everyday transaction. Mr. Lee wanted the cake to include a slogan that said, support gay marriage, along with a picture of Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street. And the logo of the Queer Space organisation.
What's the logo of the Queer Space? Because that could be... Let me just...
It's not a willy or anything. There's no reason why you wouldn't... What?
Come on, don't lower it to that.
Well, I'm just saying it's not an offensive thing. Earlier on Thursday, the court was told by Mr. Lee's barrister that the company had broken the law by turning down his order. But his barrister would say that. That's his job.
OK, well, here's... OK, well, that's what the cake... I can say the cake is here. I think that the bakers it sounds like they did it in a very polite fashion.
The mistake they made was giving the excuse to a gay rights activist.
The mistake they made was being honest?
Yeah.
Wow.
With someone whose job it is to flag up things like this.
Oh, so hang on, we've got to tread carefully, have we, around activists? Have we got to take an activist? Oh, it might be an activist.
Okay.
Don't say anything because then it might be an activist, and the
if you're being interviewed by the Daily Mail, would you be careful?
I'll be careful when I speak to anybody. I don't see activism.
Oh, shut up! You're such.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 clockwise, there's a lane closed between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 18 for Chorleywood because the crane's broken down. And also anti-clockwise on the M25, it's slow from junction 17 for Maple Cross to 14 for Heathrow Terminal 4. On the M1 towards London, it's very busy through junction 9 for Redbourne. And in Watford, it's looking slow on Beecham Grove around Escourt Road. In High Wycombe, having a look at the speed sensors on Amersham Hill, and it's looking quite slow into High Wycombe, but it's not any major delays there this morning. And looking at the train departure boards, there are no major problems showing up there either at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Sammy. The Trav. Hey, Dealey's been a bit quiet. Strange last hour. We'll get Dealey as soon as we can into the show. I miss his luscious, sexy tones. Gay cake. UKIP. Oh, and all kinds of bits and pieces. Coming up after the news with Simon Oxley.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. The headlines. Luton Airlines change flight rules after Alps crash. Bedfordshire care home boss to be sentenced. And Stevenage driver quickest in Malaysia.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A number of airlines, including Luton-based EasyJet and Monarch, have changed their flight procedures from this morning in response to Tuesday's plane crash in the French Alps. French officials say it was caused by the co-pilot Andreas Lubitz from Germany, who locked the captain out of the cockpit. German police say they have made a significant discovery at his home, but haven't given details. The airlines say they will now have 2 crew members in the cockpit at all times. Captain Mike Vivian is a former Civil Aviation Authority inspector.
I would hope that there's going to be a long, calm, cool look at what has taken place when the evidence has become available, because at the moment we haven't got it all. If we have to put somebody else on, what you're actually saying is, I don't trust the person who's remaining in the flight deck. And that's a serious step to take.
The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire care home where an elderly woman died after falling out of a body sling will be sentenced today. Mohammed Zarouk, whose company GA Properties ran Meppershall care home, pleaded guilty to the charges brought by the health and safety executive. 2 carers of 100-year-old May Ward hadn't had proper training. Mrs Ward's son John is angry the carers have never faced a trial.
It's sickening. You know, when someone dies like that, and it's the cause of neglect or carelessness, the health and safety rules were broken, why were they allowed to leave the country without being at trial or anything like that?
A man will appear at Luton Crown Court today charged with committing murder at a travellers' site in Buckinghamshire. 33-year-old Addie McAllister from Derbyshire is accused of killing Adam Fanelli from Dunstable in the village of Nash last week. A second man remains in custody. 2 men from Luton have been charged with terror offences following an investigation by Scotland Yard officers. 38-year-old Ibrahim Anderson and 62-year-old Shah Jahan Khan are accused of inviting support for a banned organisation. Both have been bailed to appear in court next month. Both the Conservatives and Labour are claiming victory in last night's Leaders' televised election programme. An ICM poll of viewers gave David Cameron a 54 to 46% victory over Ed Miliband. The UKIP candidate for Luton South says they are expecting protests when they open a campaign office in the town this weekend, but Yasin Raymond says opening an office in Bury Park is not inflammatory.
We can set an office anywhere. I come from that part of the area, Bury Park. We found a vacant shop unit there, and we decided to open an office. It's not that we're going to grieve anyone. It's basically people need to understand right now the UKIP policy on immigration, and especially calling for controlled immigration, is for benefit, for everyone's benefit.
In sport, world champion Lewis Hamilton has recovered from an early setback to set the fastest time in second practice for Sunday's Malaysian Grand Prix. The Stevenage driver had suffered an engine failure in first practice. And ahead of tomorrow's trip to Northampton, Luton have signed Aston Villa left-back Lewis Kinsella on loan. The weather dry with sunny spells, a maximum temperature today 12 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Busy show this morning. We're mourning the loss of Zayn Malik from One Direction, and in all seriousness,
He's not died.
Oh, no. I sympathise and empathise with those young women who are upset by this. This is genuinely a very emotional... It's like, it's like losing a loved one. It's like splitting up with your first boyfriend. It's a big thing for these girls. There's a lot of sarcasm and taking the mick out. I genuinely think it's a big deal for these kids. Gay cake? Was the baker in Northern Ireland right to refuse to put a gay slogan on a cake? I think she was. You're self-employed, you turn down work. If you don't want it. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
We'll have Dealey at some point. I missed Dealey in the last day. Any texts?
Yeah,
before we
we've
crack
got
on?
loads.
Go on.
Why is your station so anti-British? Says Tony in Welling, making UKIP and others who want to protect the British way of life out as racist. This country has gone to the dogs. Would your petulant DJs be giving this same attitude if he was interviewing a jihad?
Sorry?
When?
Whoa! First of all, at no point did I accuse UKIP of being racist, and if that had been someone, I would have given anybody from
You'd have
any
said the
party.
same to a jihad, would you?
I wouldn't have spoken. Well, if a jihad came in here, I'd be saying, "What do you want me to do, boss?" I would have given the same grilling to anybody from any political party. So
Well,
thank you very
Tony
much
says,
indeed.
when, not if, this country becomes a Muslim country, will us Brits then have any rights?
Oh, Tony, you're an idiot. Jog on. Next. When it becomes a Muslim, get out of here. Go and listen to another station. I don't want you listening. Bye-bye.
Okay. Marion in Hemel, are UKIP going to stop emigration as well? From Marion in Hemel.
Okay. I don't know. Probably not.
Tony, another Tony, what are you trying to say? Do you think immigration should be controlled? If so, how? I think they're talking to Yassine, who we spoke to earlier on.
And fair play to Yassine. He was booked in for 10 minutes. He stayed for almost half an hour, and he took the questioning in the spirit it was intended. And well done for him. I thought he defended himself brilliantly.
Oh, hang on a minute. No, he's talking to you, Tony is.
Oh, yeah?
What are you trying to say? Do you think immigration should be controlled? If so, how? How many people should be allowed in each year? The UKIP spokesman spoke a lot of sense. History is history, and the future needs controlling. Wow. Too many European migrant workers are being exploited by foreign company owners. Okay. Why are the European workers not wiping the backsides of old people in their own country?
I don't know the answer to that question, but thank you very much for the text.
Shock from Maff in Hanslow. What? Bert and Ernie are now gay?
Yeah.
This activist has got his rights to a gay marriage. If the baker won't make him a fairy cake, then he should pop to the butcher's and see if he's going to sell him some... Well, I'm not going to say that word. Stereotypes work both ways. Hope Sesame Street sue him, says Maff in Hanslow.
Pork chops? Ribs? Sausage.
No.
I don't know who that is.
Hang on a minute, go on, tell me. Oh, come on, Maff, please.
Helen in Milton Keynes. Is Asher's the only bakers in Belfast? I wonder why they were chosen, as it's clear from the company website that they hold Christian beliefs and may refuse to undertake certain work. Perhaps the activists chose them in the hope they could charge them with anti-gay attitudes and put them out of business.
This activist is annoying me, right? You go to a baker and they say no. You go to the next baker down the street. That's all you've got to do. For goodness sake.
Apparently he's been to them before without any problem, but he wasn't asking for an obviously...
The cream horn?
He wasn't asking them for anything with a political slogan on it.
Supposing... that's the thing. Thank you. Political slogan. So, they would be... For example, let's assume that this baker were a staunch conservative. If they were asked to make a cake with a Labour slogan,
it's not the same.
No, it's political. You've said political.
Yeah, it's political, but
it's
in the same way that the civil rights movement is bound up with politics.
Oh, good comeback. Fair play. Give you that. But if it's a political slogan, they are well within their rights to say, "Well, I don't want to do this. Don't agree with these politics."
But then don't cite Christianity as the reason why. It's not that.
It's taken you 2 hours and 8 minutes to get me in the Ghoulies. Was that what they call it in cricket? The Ghoulies? The Goonies?
If you like.
Googles?
I think I got you anyway.
Thank you.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Very, very sad story. We spoke to John May earlier on, who I think is a very brave gentleman. He's John Ward. I do apologise. Thank you, John Ward. Thank you. Who is a very brave gentleman who lost his mum May Ward almost 5 years ago. How? Well, she was 100 years old. She was in a care home. She was being hoisted up by a sling, which they use regularly, and was dropped on the floor. Cracked her head open, all kinds of mischief happened trying to cover up the mistake, and she passed away. Well, today, Mohammed Zarouk, the managing director of the company which ran the care home in Bedfordshire, will be sentenced. His company, GA Properties, ran Meppershall Care Home and pleaded guilty to the charges brought by the Health and Safety Executive. Joined now by Frank Ursel, who's from the Registered Nursing Home Association, which campaigns for better standards. Morning, Frank.
Good morning, Ian.
What sort of sentence could the manager of the care home receive today? He's gone into liquidation, I believe, so any financial imposition he possibly won't have to pay. Could he go to prison for this?
I suppose he could. I mean, it is usually a financial. It's a fine that the magistrates usually give. I mean, it will be different by circumstances, that's the case. But I have to say, if you look back over where there's deaths occurred in the past on the health and safety prosecutor, the usual fine is around about £100,000. So it's not an insignificant amount of money.
This could have been avoided because it was the Mary was on one of those hoists, one of those portable hoists where you can lift someone up and then you can kind of move them around a little bit. The carers hadn't received the proper training. How much training is given to care workers in homes like this?
Well, there's a whole range of training. I mean, if we're just dealing with this one aspect of it, it's just, it's lifting people generally. Manual handling is an awful term, but it's the health and safety catch-all for this area. It's one of those things. It's the sort of training that's given on induction. If I think back to when I opened my nursing home 30 years ago, we didn't have a hoist for the first 10 years. But now, we've got a hoist on each floor. It's part and parcel of everything we do. And so it's a key part of our work. And therefore, it's key that all the staff are trained properly in the use of the hoist. And it should have happened in the first day. It should have been one of the first things that's done on that first day.
Oh, they're such an integral part of care homes, aren't they, these days, these hoists?
Now. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
It's taken 5 years, almost 5 years, since the death of Mary to get to this stage. That seems like an incredibly long time, doesn't it?
I must admit, when I first heard that, I thought, I can't quite work out what's taken 5 years to get there, whether it's the fact I understand the care assistants have left the country again, and whether they're trying to spend some time trying to get to speak to those first. I don't know. It's matchy enough to take up, I suppose, to the Crown Prosecution Service, but it seems inordinately too long. It's sad for the son because he's had to live with grief for all of this period without having any completion.
And on this show, we don't like to kind of, create panic. Most care workers in most care homes are thoroughly decent people who are excellent at their job and are there for the right reasons, aren't they, Frank?
Absolutely. And again, if you take the fact there's nearly 500,000 people in care homes at the moment, if you think that those 500,000 people are probably having 3 or 4 incidents with hoists every day. We've got a large amount going on, so it's key that we're good at this, and we are generally good at this. And when you do get the one that goes wrong, I mean, then it's only right that all the forces that can be used go against that person. But
Frank, finally, while I've got you on, just kind of the conversation we were having this morning links in with this. My mum's in a care home, and the majority of people that work in that care home are foreign. There's a lot of Polish girls in there, bizarrely some Japanese people, but a lot of foreign people, and I know that happens across the board. Why do you think there are so many Europeans working in care homes?
Well, England, of course, is a big attraction, and so the intention of the worker is to come to England. We have a problem in that local authorities aren't prepared to fund the sort of care that we provide properly, and so we find local people aren't willing to work for the national minimum wage, which is so common, whereas people from abroad are prepared to work for that. And so it's and as we can no longer recruit from outside of the EU to this sort of post, then it's invariably it's the Europeans who want to come here to do that. It's the bottom line is just a simple fact. The BBC programme a year ago on protecting our parents identified that in a hospital in Birmingham, the cost of a long-term bed was £230 a day or £2,000 a week. Birmingham City Council don't pay £600 for a nursing home bed. That puts it in stark contrast, I think.
Frank, I really appreciate your thoughts this morning. Thank you. Frank Ursel from the Registered Nursing Home Association, campaigning for better standards. And most carers, a lot of other shows might do that panicking thing. And this incident that happened to Mary was... Sorry, I said May earlier on. It's Mary, isn't it? Oh, I've got 2 different names written down. It's May, isn't it? I've got someone that says Mary later on in the script. The incident that happened to May is very, very rare. And while it's absolutely horrible, the majority of people doing these jobs are pretty darn good. Right, 08459 455 555. Let's get the travel in a second. Where is she?
Dunno.
Well, let's press the button and let's hope.
I could do it. I could tell you about the M25.
No.
One lane's closed.
No. Well, is she going to come or?
It might be because she's got beef from earlier on.
We didn't let her broadcast
stood up twice.
But we stood Oxley down once. I mean, fair play. He probably enjoyed that break we gave him at past. It allowed him to nip out and have an extra growler. I'm going to press the button and see what happens.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
No. Nope. Nope. Forget it. I mean, it's only... I say it with the greatest respect, it's only travel. I mean, the travel and the weather... We're being honest. Really. 8:15. It is Friday, the 27th of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Airlines, including Luton-based EasyJet and Monarch, have altered flight procedures following the crash in the French Alps. The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire... Tell her she's late. The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire care home where an elderly woman died after falling out of a body sling will be sentenced today. And the UKIP candidate for Luton South has defended the location for their campaign office in Bury Park in the town ahead of tomorrow's opening.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Every Sunday morning from 9.
I play soul music. I've always had a deep love of soul music. Soul music is such happy music anyway. When I say soul music, I'm talking about Motown and Philadelphia.
Tony Blackburn.
The artists that I'd play really would be people like Luther Vandross, Alexandra, Neil, Sister Sledge, a lot of the Motown, Diana Ross and the Supremes.
With 2 hours of great soul music for Sunday morning.
There's some good new soul records that come out. I do include them, but they're mainly classics. Most people like hearing music from the 70s and 80s, and particularly the jazz funk era.
Tony Blackburn.
Music has been and always has been a very strong part of my life.
Every Sunday morning from 9.
Yep.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
He's so old.
Who is?
Oh, you can hear me. I was talking... Sorry, how rude of me. You could, those words came out of my head. Good morning, JVS.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Pebble. That's what I would describe your top as, pebble.
What do you mean? It's brown.
The colour is pebble.
It's brown. It's brown corduroy.
Well, it's not brown, is it?
No, it's brown.
I'd say it was fawn.
No.
I'd say it was ugly.
Right,
Oh,
well,
She's cut off. And her microphone isn't going open for the rest of the show.
Kelly.
It's brown.
No.
Pebble, I think. It's a nice name.
Bam Bam.
I had a bedroom once I painted in a similar colour to that. It was Dulux stone.
Oh, is it still there? Because I could go and hide in it.
You could go and hide in it.
All you'd see is a head floating. A floating head. Ooh.
Yes. That's rather nice.
Thank you, that's so kind of you. You said the show today I'm going to enjoy.
You're going to like it. Well, because you like the consumer stuff I do.
I love it. I love it.
I know you do. And this morning from 9, it's a Connells special.
Oh, man, this estate agent. I love it.
From 9 this morning, what would you like to say to the boss of Connells?
Is he coming on?
No. JVS show listeners will know that for the last 3 weeks I've been investigating the way the Leighton Buzzard-based estate agency Connells Group sells houses.
Yep.
This all began when Matthew from Luton came to my consumer hour, claiming that Connells prioritised buyers who agreed to arrange their mortgage in-house. Connells told me this isn't their policy. But when I broadcast their very robust response, phone lines absolutely lit up with other listeners who said they'd been unable to view or bid on houses with Connells and their other companies as they'd refused to see the in-house mortgage advisor. Well, since that broadcast, I've now spoken to a man who worked for the firm for 8 years. So what does he say about the way they do business? You'll hear my interview with him from 9 this morning. You'll also hear...
I'm in the car as well from 9, so I'm going to get to hear all of this. Brilliant.
You'll like this. You'll also hear another interview that I have done with 3 people that were all involved in the same sale and purchase, who all had interesting experiences with Connells. They will all talk to one another for the first time about what happened.
About the same property?
Yes. I will talk to the buyer. I'll talk to the buyer who bought the house. I'll talk to the seller, and I'll talk to the woman who missed out on the house because she refused to use Connells in-house mortgage services.
Wow.
All of that from 9 this morning. And your response, please. The boss...
And they still refuse to come on. Surely they would. Someone has to. They know that you're doing this.
The boss of Connells has written me an email at 9 o'clock last night to say, if you broadcast this interview tomorrow morning, then you're broadcasting factually incorrect stuff.
Oh.
Well, you be the judge this morning from 9. And what message have you got for the boss?
You've got a cheeky little glint in your eye. You're a naughty boy.
From 9 this morning, a Connells special.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road is where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold. A brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far but I know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll.
Big up yourself, Justin Dealey.
Geezer.
Geezer.
Back in the hot seat, Geezer.
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 Geezer, boss.
Geezer.
Geezer. Let's play Geezer Pass the Parcel. Right, you start.
Okay. Do you want to count me down?
No, just go into it.
Okay, Geezer.
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 No, I think I did it wrong. Right, you go. Ready?
Geezer.
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 We're at the same time. It's hard, isn't it?
It's a tough game to play.
It's a tough game to play.
Yeah.
Geezer, pass the geezer.
Yeah.
Justin.
Yes.
We've sent you out to talk about why so many young women in this country are distraught.
Yes.
Many thousands, nay millions of young people across the world are sinking into depression.
Yes, true.
The reason being the Mr. Malik departure.
Yeah, Zayn, 1D, One Direction.
I still don't think I've ever heard a 1D song.
Really?
I don't think I have.
What was that song that went...
I don't know, I've never heard it. You can touch me in the morning and I'll make you feel alright. Is that them?
I don't know.
It's a good song, they can have it if they want.
Great
but I want $1 million.
So you sent me out this morning onto the streets about this one, and you said to me, look, Dog, what I don't want...
I didn't say that.
Okay. Justin?
Yep.
Okay. Justin, what I don't want teenage girls. You wanted to get a different perspective, a different take on this, because girls the last couple of days, they've been crying into their sleep. So what we've got...
Crying into their sleep. That's not even a phrase, but you make it sound so poetic.
Okay. So what we've done, we've gone for a different generation, and we've gone for...
I've been crying into my sleep, Mum! You just don't understand!
Hey, listen, you cried when Davy Jones died.
I didn't cry into my sleep.
Okay.
Because I don't know what that means.
But you still cried?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so don't take
Yes, I did.
So you said no teenage girls. You wanted older people.
Yes. You know exactly what I wanted. There was a lot that was unspoken between us in that conversation, Justin, and you know.
You wanted a different perspective from people across the world as well.
Yes, I did.
Yes. So I've been on the streets this morning, getting reaction to the sad news that Zayn has left 1D. That, of course, happened on Wednesday. Here's what happened. I think a lot of people this week have gone insane in the membrane. How are you feeling after what's happened?
What do you mean, what's happened?
We're Zaynless.
What's Zaynless?
Madam, you're still crying on the way to work. Zayn's gone. What's your reaction?
Who's Zayn? I'm not bothered.
You still look visibly shaken after Wednesday. How have things picked up? Zayn, One Direction.
I'm
laughing about
crying
it.
myself to sleep every night.
I'm back on the streets, madam. This is where I belong to be. How are you feeling after the announcement on Wednesday about Zayn?
Oh yeah, it's sad, isn't it? Because I think the group was so good together. Yeah, so unfortunately he has to move on.
How are you going to be lifting your spirits this weekend off the back of the sad news on Wednesday?
Just to listen to music.
You're just going to be listening to all the old
music.
songs,
Yeah.
and reliving that vibe.
Yeah. They've got nice music. I enjoy their music, yeah.
I mean, it'll never be the same again, obviously, but we've all got our memories, and when you put that CD on, that memory's there straight away, isn't it?
Yeah, you can hear his voice as well. Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Zayn forever.
Do you think your life will ever be the same again?
No. It will differ.
It's different, yeah?
Yeah, it depends on the situation, and yeah, we can't predict our future, right? So
I know there's a big hole in your life right now. Things will get better, all right?
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, yeah.
One Direction forever, yeah?
Yeah.
If I like heavy metal, why would I want to listen to One Direction?
Because we're doing it for Zayn.
No, thank you.
Morning, Sue.
Hi, good morning.
Sue, you're here today on the streets. You're wearing a nightie and you're wearing a coat. Can you confirm that's true?
I am wearing my nightie and a coat.
On the streets. It appears to me, and I could be wrong here, it appears to me this is the first time you've managed to get yourself out of bed. You've got the strength to get out of bed since Wednesday when we heard the sad news about Zayn.
Yeah, it's shocking. Really, frankly, I'm quite shocked. But, you know, I think he's a young man. He's done his time in the band. It's time to fly the coop and be his own man now, really.
So that time you've had in bed over the past...
Yeah, I was dreaming about him, actually. Yeah, he's a very nice man, actually. It was nice in my dreams, anyway.
I'm leaving it there, thanks. Crazy lady.
See ya.
Powerful stuff, Justin.
Yeah, it is. And I thought this morning, I didn't quite know how far we would get with this one. I thought it was just going to be teenage girls, but you've heard there from people, and people from, different places across the world. Their lives at the moment, sadly, just aren't the same. But guys, I've got a message for you. Nothing ever lasts forever, and you can move on from this.
Two things I've learnt from today.
Yes.
What's Mizanglas?
So that woman doesn't know what Mizanglas is.
Yes.
And, well, you all know where you belong.
On the street. This is where I belong to be.
Yeah, it's where you belong to be, Just.
All right. This is where I belong to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's where you belong to be.
This is where I belong to be.
You belong to be there.
All right.
And girls have been crying into their sleep.
Yes.
And?
This is where I belong to be.
Okay.
This is where I belong to be.
It's where you belong to be, Just.
Oh, you're back, aren't you? This is where I belong to be.
It's where you belong to be, Justin, and that is great.
This is where I belong to be.
Yeah, I know.
Are we done?
One more.
This is where I belong to be.
We're done now.
Okay.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There's a lane closed on the M25 clockwise because a crane's broken down between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 18 for Chorleywood, so that is causing delays. Elsewhere, though, not looking too bad on the M1 looking at the cameras. In Beaconsfield on the A355 Park Lane, that's looking quite slow at Candlemas Lane, and in High Wycombe on the A40 London Road, that's very busy now in both directions. Into High Wycombe on Amersham Horsham Hill, that is starting to build up too, according to the CCTV control room. And in Dunstable, the A5 southbound's looking slower from Church Street towards West Street. On the trains, Thameslink have possible delays between Bedford and Orpington because of a signalling problem at Shortlands, and the 8:50 service from Milton Keynes Central to Birmingham New Street is delayed. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. Stephen Hollins is not happy on Twitter. Iain, your interview technique is truly deplorable. You, sir, are blatantly mocking the UKIP candidate and twisting his words to belittle his points. There was no mocking going on at all. I was simply questioning him in the way that I would question any candidate, and it wasn't belittling his points nor twisting his words. I was just asking questions, Stephen. Not quite sure what your problem is.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30, I'm Simon Oxley. German police have searched the homes of the co-pilot who crashed his airliner in the French Alps. Airlines, including Luton-based EasyJet and Monarch, have altered flight procedures so that 2 crew members are in the cockpit at all times. The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire care home where an elderly woman died after falling out of a body sling will be sentenced today. And the UKIP candidate for Luton South has defended the location for their campaign office in Berry Park in the town ahead of tomorrow's opening.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
World champion Lewis Hamilton has recovered from an early setback to set the fastest time in second practice for Sunday's Malaysian Grand Prix. The Stevenage driver had suffered an engine failure in first practice. More from James Allen.
Lewis Hamilton spent more of the day in the pits than on the track, but technical problems didn't prevent the world champion from setting the fastest time of the day in the Mercedes. But the gap to Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen was only 0.4 of a second, showing improvement for the Italian team. Jenson Button was down in 17th, just behind his McLaren teammate Fernando Alonso, who's making his return to competition after suffering a concussion in his testing accident.
Tottenham striker Harry Kane is expected to make his England debut in tonight's European Championship qualifier against Lithuania at Wembley. Kane has scored 29 times for Spurs this season. Tomorrow, no matches for Watford or MK Dons because of the international games. The Dons have signed forward Rob Hall on loan from Bolton. He was on loan at Stadium MK in 2012. The League Two promotion race continues tomorrow with third-placed Wickham at Dagenham. Here's manager Gareth Ainsworth.
We have a great momentum at the moment, so we don't want to disturb that too much either. We just want to go in there with the same attitude we have had for the last 5 or 6 games, and I'm sure we can come back with a win.
Ahead of the trip to Northampton, Luton have signed Aston Villa left-back Lewis Kinsella on loan as their injury list lengthens. Elliot Lee and Fraser Franks will miss tomorrow's match, but Jonathan Smith could return. John Still's side are aiming to halt a 5-match losing run.
The responsibility of the team isn't an individual player, the responsibility of the team is a manager. I'll take the responsibility for that. No problems whatsoever. Like I took the pats on the back when it was all great.
Stevenage go to leaders Burton on Monday. Arsenal midfielder Jack Jerbas rejoined the Borough on loan for the rest of the season. And in Speedway, the Rye House Rockets Cup fixture at Ipswich last night was postponed due to the wet weather. They go to Peterborough tonight and host Somerset at Hoddesdon tomorrow evening. BBC Three Counties News and Sports. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Girls, the last couple of days, they've been crying into their sleep.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Margaret isn't happy with the show. Bring back the regular show, she says rudely to my team.
She was somewhat rude. She threw some insults around. I told her...
Margaret, come on the air, you silly
She didn't want to give me her phone number. I did say that her comment was a bit rude.
Come on the air.
Regular.
Huh?
What's the regular show?
I don't.
Yeah, she said, can we have the normal programme back?
It's not Justin, because...
This is where I belong to be.
So it can't be he.
Hey, don't forget my phone in for another day.
Yeah.
We'll do that one day.
But Margaret rings up twice a week, so obviously she's been disgruntled for some time, but she's listening just in case.
Justin Daly. What have we been talking about, Catherine? Let's remind the punters.
Gay cakes.
Gakes. Hattie Gakes.
And Zayn Malik. Has anyone got any sympathy for Zayn?
That's pretty much what we've been discussing all day. Zayn Malik and gay cakes. They're the big stories. They're the big stories of the day.
Yeah.
Do we have 08459 455 555 if you want to call up about that or anything else that you think we may have missed? Let's have some texters.
Paul says, so someone has the choice to be gay. Nah. I'm just leaving a pregnant pause there for people to fill in their own yes they do, no they don't opinion. But
gay people can have pregnant pauses now.
But can't choose what cake he makes. This is just another lash out trying to pull the discrimination cord. I've never pulled that cord. I mean,
there's a discrimination cord?
I've never seen it.
I've seen the car. I've seen the discrimination car. I've seen the race card. I've played race cards. It's a great game. I've never pulled a discrimination cord. I think the baker was right to say no to the gay man. Saying, no, I don't want to make this cake. I think if you're a self-employed person, you have the right to turn down work. The gay couple in the bed and breakfast is slightly different in as much as if I've got that story right, they'd turned up and they were there and it's a slightly different scenario.
Hang on a minute, no, because they accepted the order and then cancelled something like 40 hours afterwards with the cake. So that's the same principle then, isn't it?
No, it's not. They still they hadn't turned up expecting the cake. If they turned up, so where's my cake? Oh no, we didn't make it because you're gays. We don't make cakes for gays. We don't do gay cakes. They do make cakes for gays. They don't do gay slogans. If that had happened, then that would be inappropriate. They turned up to the B&B, and the Christian couple said, "Oh no, you can't stay."
I wonder if they do those cakes that look like boobs.
Cream horn.
No, the boob cakes. You know, you can get them that look like a woman's body or a man's body. Yeah, for sort of hens and things.
Oh, no, I hope not.
I wonder if they do.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Ben is in Wickham.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Benjamin. What have you got?
I just think...
Is it Benjamin or Benneth? Which one are you?
Ben.
And what's it short for, Benjamin or Benneth?
Ben, he told you.
Ben.
Okay, Ben, thank you.
Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
Yes, I think his refusal is really just the icing on the cake.
Kelly?
It's not the cake itself.
They want to have their gay cake and kiss it.
Yeah.
I censored myself just at the last minute there.
Like the Eskimo who went out in his boat one day with a little oil heater in the front.
Yes.
And the boat caught fire and it sank.
Oh, no.
Which just goes to show you can't have your kayak and heat it.
Yay! Hang on a second. This is a fun game. This is a fun... You're a fun guy. Like the mushroom.
Oh, there you are, you see. I told you so.
Don't. You're getting me very hot and cross, Buns. Yeah? Use your loaf, your sausage roll.
Well,
cream horn.
I beg your pardon?
Cream horn, sir.
You know what's happening next weekend, don't you?
Let me have a think. Is it what's happening next weekend? Is it Bloomers?
Good. Friday.
What's happening? What's happening next weekend?
Good. Friday.
Oh, good. Friday.
Good. Friday.
Oh, God.
Ben. Do you know what? Listen, now you bring me on to a very serious point. Do you know what's happening next Friday that's good?
Happening where?
Baker's Dozen. Baker's Dozen.
13, you get a bonus.
Get a bonus. Baker's doesn't care for you, Ben.
I asked for a dozen hot cross buns and he refused to give them to me.
Yeah, Baker's doesn't do them.
No, he said you can only have 13. I said, I don't want 13. What do you think I am, greedy?
Don't get it.
Baker's doesn't do them.
She doesn't get it. They're only used to supply buns in 13s and not in dozens.
It doesn't. Do you know what?
No, I just don't get why this is funny.
Do you know what Baker's? Do you know what Baker's don't do in France, Ben? Sticks.
Well,
French sticks.
Well,
Le pain au chocolat.
I guess
Le pain au chocolat.
Depends on whether they need the money, the dough, doesn't it, really?
Hey, that's why the baker's hand smelt, wasn't it? Because he needed a poo.
Absolutely.
This has been the most fun I've ever had, Ben. Thanks for calling.
Good day.
That was crepe.
I want to rip my ears off.
That was crepe.
It was.
That's the most fun.
It's made me quite croissant.
That's the most fun I've ever had on the radio. Do you like that, Margaret? Do you like that, Margaret?
We've had another text from a disgruntled listener who listens all the time.
Give me their number, I'll phone them up.
Hey guys,
I'll phone them up and say, hey guys, what's your problem, man?
Hey guys,
what's your problem, man? You want to chill out, man? You don't like it? Well, then you can kiss my titties. If you like that cake so much, why don't you marry it? Is what I would have said to that gentleman in my bakery.
Oh, so it's right to marry a cake, but not another man?
Yeah, I support cake marriage. I don't support gay marriage, is what they might have said in the bakery.
That's my pen. Can you not smoke it?
Sorry. Right.
Hey guys, I've been disgruntled with your programme for months, but keep on tuning in case I miss a good bit, says Dave. Okay? I hope you get a diary.
Dave, I'm really sorry.
Podcast.
If you've not heard it already, you ain't going to hear it.
The last couple of days, they've been crying into their sleep.
That was the good bit. That was the good bit. I like that guy, that crazy guy, Bennett.
I don't.
Ben.
I don't.
He's my favourite.
Yeah. You don't get many Bennets these days.
Or Ben-Bens.
I would call, if I had a son called Tom, I would say it was short for Tomothy. If a boy called Tim, I'd say it was short for Timus. Written down the wrong... Oh, here we go. Weird weapons and disguises in the world's stupidest stick-ups. An invisible gunman. This is great. So these are idiot robbers, OK?
He was invisible?
Well...
You could see the gun.
One hapless crook thought he could get away with the perfect robbery after paying a wizard 290 quid to make him invisible. So he thought he was invisible.
He thought it was a wizard.
It all went wrong when he walked into the bank in Tehran and started snatching cash out of hands of customers. They quickly overpowered him. He was arrested. He told a court in 2013, "I understand now what a big trick was played on me." He thought he was invisible. Imagine that. But if you pay a wizard and they say, "Oh no, you're invisible," where are you?
He's got the hat and everything, the hat, the beard, the whole thing.
Where are you? I can't see you. You must be. No, you're invisible. You're invisible, Glenn.
Amir.
Amir Khan, the boxer.
No, it's Glenn.
Hello, Glenneth. What you got for us?
Right, listen. Whilst I love your show, right, it's absolutely brilliant. I would like it next time you go on holiday to have JVS in the chair.
Sorry?
Just to see how he copes with the banter.
JVS doesn't do banter.
Well, it would be nice to just see if he can...
Nice for who? Thanks very much, Glenn.
All right, so JVS does my show. Who does his show?
You... Oh, no.
I'll be on holiday, mate.
Yeah, I know you would, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with you, Kath, or
No, but what you're doing is you're landing us with JVS, who is fantastic, but you're not allowed to look him in the eye contractually.
He's hard work. No. He's hard work. But Glenn, listen, you've made it sound so easy being the boss of a radio station. OK, I'm off sick. JVS fills for me. Who fill for JVS? Who?
Well, he's got that other guy. What's his name?
Timus?
I don't know which one you mean.
Yeah, I mean,
Who fills for Timus?
So who's going to fill for Timus? You see, Glenn, it's not just as simple as shunting everyone up one.
Well...
See, Glenn, thank you. Thank you, Glenn. He's not thought that through. Crooks Matthew McNelly and Joey Miller were easy to spot when cops caught up with them in Iowa in 2009. As a disguise while robbing a flat, they'd drawn masks on their faces. With permanent marker. Oh, you blew it. This noise went through their heads. Sorry? No, not that noise.
Music.
You're under arrest. How do you recognise us? It's the permanent marker.
Music.
But I'm invisible. No, you're not.
Music.
Another bungling robber tried holding up a bank in Poland. I only want to help you, Poland. With a
It must be quite strong.
With a teaspoon.
Oh.
The crook held the spoon to the neck of a cashier in 2009, pretending it was a knife. Horrific experience. The mirror make a joke. He caused quite a stir.
Music.
Spudunic. Speaking of spuds, right now this is a story I don't understand.
Oh, is this the one about the crisps?
No, it kind of is, but then there's more to it. Okay? We go to page 19 of the Aren't crisps one of our 5 a day? Around 1 in 20 parents mistakenly believe a packet of crisps counts towards their children's 5 a day portions of fruit or vegetables, OK? Well, you are...
They've also paid a wizard to make themselves invisible.
You are complete plums, OK? Obviously, that's not the case, right? But then the story goes on, and it turns out I am... Researchers found that 33%...
Can't read a sentence?
Researchers found... That was very good. Researchers found that 33% couldn't correctly identify 5 portions of fruit or veg.
Right.
With 1 in 4 counting jacket potatoes.
Yeah.
Well, that is part of your 5 a day. But this is saying... you thought it was as well. You've just done a quick recalculation.
No.
You've recalibrated. Well, I saw you recalibrated. You just booted yourself up again.
Spuds are in a different category, aren't
they? No! You've just rebooted!
No.
You've totally rebooted yourself!
Isn't Spuds fibre?
Spuds?
If you eat the skin.
I thought that Spuds was one of your 5 a day. It says here it's not. With 1 in 4 counting jacket potatoes. Well, I would have counted jacket potatoes 5 a day.
But you wouldn't count chips.
1 in 5.
What's that noise?
1 in 7 suggesting mashed potato. You're telling me mashed potato isn't one of your 5 a day? And 1 in 9 counting vitamin pills as one of their children's 5. Well, that's obviously stupid. But surely potato is one of your 5 a day. It's a vegetable. Oh, right. So it's your 5 fruit and vegetables a day, not potatoes. Jeez, these food fascists.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M25 clockwise, there's a lane closed between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 25 for Enfield, but between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 18 for Chorleywood, the broken down crane has been removed, so that part is moving okay again. In High Wycombe on the A40 London Road, that's busy in both directions, and also having a look at the speed sensors in Dunstable and the A5 High Street North, building up between Regent Street by the Ashton Middle School and Church Street. On the trains, Thameslink reporting possible delays between Bedford and Orpington. That's because of a signalling problem.
This is where I belong
BBC
to be.
Three Counties Radio.
What's Miss Anglers?
I will answer that question later on. Catherine pretending that she knew that potatoes weren't part of your 5 a day.
No, I just...
Pretending. You're thinking...
But I just
which is very unusual for you, which makes me suspect that something's afoot. Or a hand. Depends what it is.
Or a finger.
That's a finger. Yeah, OK, thank you. 8:46, Friday the 27th of March. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Airlines, including Luton-based EasyJet and Monarch, have altered flight procedures following the crash in the French Alps. The managing director of a company which ran a Bedfordshire care home where an elderly woman died after falling out of a body sling will be sentenced today. And the UKIP candidate for Luton South has defended the location for their campaign office in Berry Park in the town ahead of tomorrow's opening. Let's get the weather. Here's Elizabeth.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, good morning. There'll be some good spells of sunshine developing today. Variable amounts of cloud. Temperatures rising up to around 10 or 11 degrees, I think, by the time we get to the afternoon. The winds are light, so it'll feel quite pleasant in the sunshine. So all in all, a fairly gentle, benign day of weather today, but it's going to get quite blustery over the weekend. Now, overnight tonight, we've got a warm front coming in from the west. We'll start to get some mild, some murky air pushing through. The cloud will thicken, lots of low cloud, possibly some outbreaks of drizzle into tomorrow morning, otherwise dry, just very cloudy and a bit murky. We'll start to see some spells of rain through tomorrow afternoon. The first part won't last for very long, and then things will brighten up behind it, but all the while we've got a strengthening westerly wind, and that's really going to be a feature of tomorrow's weather, just that strength of that wind. Top temperatures up to 14 degrees, so mild tomorrow, but by the time we get to Sunday, the wind is around to a northwesterly, and that's going to feel really quite chilly in any exposure. There'll be some showers around at times as well, so quite wet, very windy on Sunday, and then we'll continue in this line of thought into next week as well. Bright and breezy, but with some showers around at times. The showers fairly hit and miss though, so you could be lucky and avoid them altogether. That's the forecast.
Thank you, Elizabeth Rizzini. Have a marvellous, marvellous weekend, my darling.
Sometimes in life, things don't always go to plan.
It worked perfectly for 2.5, 3 years till 2 days ago.
He should refund me £1,900.
Which is where we come in.
We managed to get them to agree to come back in to the property on an agreed date.
The JVS show takes on your consumer problems.
But I've basically lost the whole lot in administration charges.
And helps to get to the right solution.
I've received a cheque back for £578.
Jonathan, I can't thank you enough. I don't know how you do what you do, you and your team.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Catherine and I have just had an argument about Ben, the caller.
No, let's not have this out on air. No, it's not fair on Ben.
No, I think that I thoroughly enjoyed Ben's contribution to the show.
Oh, no, I hate puns.
I would like to make it a regular feature in the show that Ben comes on, and it was like Oscar Wilde and Nanette Newman. No, Oscar Wilde and another very.
It's like 1952 is what it was like.
Thank you, Peter Ustinov and Oscar Wilde just tossing each other tossing riposte at each other at the table.
No, yeah.
Just sat there tossing away. And I thoroughly enjoy it. Very rarely I get to do that. Very rarely I get to speak to an equal on this show, and Ben was an equal. Clever, sharp, fast. Yes, to those...
Equal to who?
Huh?
Equal to who?
To moi. Casual ears may have just thought we were just saying words that didn't actually make sense and weren't really jokes. Well, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. The ladies can go into the ladies' room. We're staying here, and we're smoking cigars and drinking port. And I don't care... whether I catch... what's the disease you get from port and cheese?
Gout, but that's a myth.
Huh?
Well, not everyone gets it from that.
Oh,
from rich food.
Get gout of here. There's gout wrong with what we did, all right?
Made me want to scratch my ears off.
I know. I'm just saying, if Ben comes on, whatever we're doing... If he rings up, whatever we're doing, we drop it, we put Ben straight on. That is Radio Gold.
Sometimes he's too rude for radio.
Yeah.
Oh!
But no, he's made the rule now, so we have to get Ben on.
Put Ben on.
Ben produce this because I want to hear it.
OK, fine. Let's. When are you off next? I believe you got a week up in April.
Yeah.
Week up in April.
What's wrong with your week?
I believe you got a week off in April. Let's get Ben in as producer. That was brilliant radio. Absolutely brilliant.
Because that's all producing is.
What? Making brilliant radio? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you stop licking my pen?
I'm not licking it. I'm sucking it as though it were a cigarette.
Do you want to come on and have a quick chat? Are you free to come on up?
That's my pen. And your...
My lungs. Pat's on the line. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, Ian.
So it turns out...
My first phone call to you.
Is it your first phone call ever?
Not to Three Counties, but to you.
OK,
yeah.
well, may God bless you. Turns out potatoes aren't part of our 5 a day. I'm shocked. Are you?
No, not at all.
Oh, pourquoi?
Because potatoes are part of your carbohydrates on your food plate.
Damn these food rules.
Stop sucking that pen.
Doing what? Damn these food rules, Pat. It's a vegetable.
Sort of, yes, but it doesn't count as your fruit and veg.
But OK, so right. So now you got to eat 5. So you got to eat 6 a day.
Well, they did say at one point 7.
They did, didn't they? Well, I believe there was at one point as well. It went up to 12.
Oh my word!
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
I couldn't fit it all in.
No.
I don't think there are 12 vegetables. We'll try and name 12 vegetables before the end of the show, if we can. So potatoes don't count. I genuinely... And this story is written as though, ho, 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 aren't people stupid that thought potatoes are part of their 5 a day? Well, in that case, I'm stupid then, Pat, because I thought they were.
No, not at all. I only know because I had to teach about food plates at school.
Oh, OK.
So that's how I know.
How old are the people that you teach in school, Pat?
That was year 3,
okay.
But then I went down to reception, which is 4 and 5.
Oh.
They don't need to know things.
They don't need to know anything, that lot, apart from how to sit still and do as they're told.
Oh, no.
Really?
They can do that.
Hey, yesterday I had the day off because I had the day off sick. I didn't realise, and I wasn't skiving. I didn't realise that it was swimming. It was swimming day yesterday for my kid at school, and the parents were invited to go and watch the kids swimming. My little 5-year-old can swim, Pat.
Oh, brilliant!
He can
Absolutely
swim,
brilliant.
and
That's fantastic.
I've not seen him swim for a while. And last time I saw him, he was very nervous about getting in the water. Didn't like his face underwater. He was jumping in. It was magic. It was magic.
How wonderful! Absolutely brilliant.
Nice to talk to you. Thank you very much. Kev's on the line. Good morning, Kev.
Hey, morning, Ian.
What you got for us, Kev?
Hey, I was just wondering, how come potatoes are they're part of your 5 a day in France?
Sorry?
They are, aren't they? They're pommes de terre, apples of the earth.
Well, does that... Hang on a minute. I don't think they have 5 a day in France. They have cinq a day.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's one of them in France, isn't it? You got your pommes frites as well, your apple chips. So that does count as one of your 5 a day.
What about pommes bears?
In England.
What about pommes bears?
Do what?
Do pommes bear count?
Oh, it must do. It's an apple of some sort.
Mustard?
Mustard.
Keenaz?
It could be. Mayo.
Simon?
Which one?
Right, OK, this is what we're going to do, because Catherine's enjoying this, and we can all play this. I'm going to say a food, and you have to name a celebrity that's named after that food.
Carrots.
No, well, hang on, that's not the rule. You've got... All right, OK.
Jasper Carrots.
Jasper Carrots. That's going to be my first one. OK, all right. Carrots.
Jasper.
OK, Kelly came in first. It's 1-0 to Kelly. Catherine, you're back in. You're back in.
No, I'm not. I'm going home.
Mayo.
Simon.
It's 1 to Kev, 1 to Kelly. Catherine, you're back in. Oh, this is a good one. Shallot.
Church.
Yeah! It's 2-1. Catherine, you're back in the game. This is a good one. Biz.
Brosnan.
Sorry, Kev?
Brosnan.
I'll give you that. I was thinking of Morgan. Peas, Morgan. I'll give you Peas Brosnan. It's 2-2. Catherine, you're back in.
Richard.
Oh!
You were just about to say bacon, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. Well, that's not fruit and veg, mate. That's a meat.
Well, I pwned you.
What? He didn't pwn me with a meat. We're not playing meaty celebrities, mate.
Oh, no, sorry, that was Justin yesterday. He doesn't like bacon, does he?
OK, well, if you want to play meaty celebrities, let's go. Kevin.
Bacon.
Ah! Ha! Who's pwned now? Catherine, you're back in the game.
Am I out?
No, you're back. You're in the game as well.
I'm bacon. Back on.
You're bacon. You're bacon on the game.
Okay.
Hang on a minute. OK. Hang on a minute. Plum.
Jeremy.
Sorry?
Jeremy.
Kev, you're breaking up. Jeremy Plum, are you saying?
Yeah, Jeremy Clarkson. He's a plum, isn't he?
I'll give him that. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Catherine, you're back in the game. This could be the decider, or this is one that's worth 10 points. So, Catherine, you could snatch it from them. OK, let me think of one. Hang on a minute. I think we've used them all up. Pear.
Danny.
You're thinking of... No, I got one. Bear.
That's not a fruit.
Pom bear. They're a type of fruit. Paddington Pom bear. Well done, Kev. You've won. Catherine, you're humiliated. Kelly, excellent effort.
Thank you, Matt.
Really bold effort.
Thanks.
Kev, thanks for that. I enjoyed that. Same time next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much indeed. What great fun we're having today, aren't we? Okie dokie there. Palmy Barmy. George Oliveira, 40, held up a Florida convenience store by jabbing a palm tree frond towards the assistant and demanding cash. What's a palm tree frond?
A leaf. Leaf it out.
I've never...
You like that?
I do like that, actually. But I'm going to show you the palm tree. Spudgeonic, a would-be bandit, was arrested in Rhode Island after trying to rob not one but 2 shops armed with potato. Gary Deming, 34, was caught last April after pretending the veg was a gun at a dry cleaners and a convenience store, where the manager chased him off with a more effective weapon.
A masher.
No, a baseball bat.
Oh. Well, it's the same thing.
And finally, a bandit in Tucson, Arizona, decided to take man's best friend along to a stick-up. Cops released CCTV footage after he calmly robbed a bank while carrying his pet chihuahua. He made off with his loot and his pet in a basket. Police never found him. Never found him.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Likewise, there are delays because the lane's closed between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 25 for Enfield. A tank has broken down, and earlier on a crane had broken down clockwise between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 18 for Chorleywood. That has now been removed and it's looking a lot better there now. In Watford on Exchange Road, it's looking busy on the speed sensors at Beach and Grove, and the CCTV control rooms are saying that in High Wycombe it's looking quite busy on Marlow Hill into High Wycombe. In Hitchin on Stevenage Road, that's looking quite slow between Whitehill Road and Paynes Park. And on the trains, Thameslink are reporting possible delays between Bedford and Orpington, and that's because of a signalling problem. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. We got away with it again. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Justin, as always. Thank you, Catherine, for producing the show. That's it. That's your lot. Podcast will be up in a few hours. Until Monday at 6 o'clock from us, ta-ta. Oh, and don't forget, Justin is on tomorrow at midday. Bye!
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon Smith. It's Friday. It's 9 o'clock. And on today's big phone-in, what would you like to say to the boss of Connells? JVS show listeners will know that for the last 3 weeks, I've been investigating